Hello and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's new episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and yes, I am back, ladies and gentlemen. Before we even get into intros, I just want to express the unbelievable thanks that I have for this community. Obviously, if you heard or you didn't hear, I got really ill yesterday. I thought it was a heart attack. Turns out my heart's great. I guess all the Pilates are paying off, which is awesome. But I had a massive, massive asthma attack that mimicked a heart attack. And, thankfully, there's nothing to really be concerned about. I'm not at 100% yet, but I'll get there by week's end. I had to cancel yesterday's show, obviously, at the last minute. And, these things happen. But I just want to say, a huge thank you for everyone that reached out. And when I got home with Mrs. Boom from the hospital last night, I had 67 DMs. I tried to get to everyone, and the amount of messages on social media were just staggeringly. I tried to. I'm pretty sure I got to everyone at some point. But thank you so much for the concern and the very kind words. Shout out to Lulu Chang of Activision and Sarah Bond, who reached out to me, which is pretty freaking cool. And everyone else that took the time to message me. I made a ton of calls this morning to all of the people that I know and love. And yes, I'm still here. But I just want to thank you, everyone. But listen, we have an amazing show. We are going to spend the first hour talking about the controversy that comes the way of Fable and Starfield, one being 30 frames per second versus it being 60 for some that really wanted 60. Me personally, I don't care because of the size of the game. 30 frames is going to work just fine. It's going to be a lock 30. And if what they showed is what we get in September, I don't think you're going to be bothered by 30 frames. But again, each game is free. Not every game is for every gamer. If I saw a lot of people like, well, it's 30, I'm not buying it. Okay. I mean, listen, you miss out on a game of the generation. That's entirely up to you. Or you can buy a $500 rig, and at some point the modders are going to make it 60 frames, and you can play it that way. And of course, the controversy comes around Fable. We have some still talk. People in the community. There's no way that was gameplay, even though it's been confirmed by producers. It's been by Playground Games themselves. We even have a quote from Ryan McCaffrey, who normally takes a dump on Xbox at any chance he gets, even though he's an Xbox dude and he has an Xbox show. He said something that actually shocked me. I put it into the DM. And then on the second half of the show, folks, well, we're going to be reacting live with you on the Xbox Game Extended Showcase, as you see on the screen. Obviously, it's shrunk now because it hasn't started. I will blow it up so you can watch with us. But let's get into the intros. Retri, brother, we both have been not so
doing great lately.
good that you're here. How are you feeling?
Better today than I was yesterday. I chugged my V8, so I'm thinking that might be helping me, or it's just in my head. I'm not really sure, but I'm feeling better.
Whatever works.
Whatever works. Yeah. Excited to talk about these topics today, and really excited that we actually get to watch something live during the show. I haven't been on a show with you where we've done that yet, so I think this is going to be kind of cool. Hopefully there'll be some new little gems that are going to pop up today. Xbox has said that, so we'll see.
Well, we know Hellblade is going to be there at some point. We know that Avowed is going to be there at some point. That we know that there's going to be some announcements that were saved for the extended show with some of their third-party partners. Mm-hmm. There is some hope and some, or hopium, if you will, that we'll get something that Xbox did not announce at the show that has been saved for this. We'll see. It's going to be interesting.
I'll be surprised if it's anything first party. I don't think anything first party that we didn't see is going to pop up. I think it'll be extended stuff. But I expect third-party stuff, but brand new stuff to show up today. So we'll see. I'm excited. It's good not to know some, I didn't see anything leak. So there's that. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But excited to be here. Thanks for having me, man, as usual. And welcome, chat.
Yeah, actually, thanks so much for joining us. We have already 400 people here, which is bonkers. Like I said, folks, I'm always incredibly surprised how many people do show up. to not only support the channel, but listen to the work that we do each and every week here. And I am incredibly grateful for that. Daniel McGee, brother, how the heck are you? Are you ready for today's show?
I'm very excited. All of the games that they've said that are going to be at the Extended Showcase are all things that I really wanted to see more of, things that I had questions about. Seeing anything more of Avowed and Hellblade is always a good thing in my book.
Mhm.
So hopefully we get some fun answers.
Yeah, I think what everyone is looking for, I don't know if it's going to be there. I would imagine if I was a betting kind of a guy, I would bet that it would be there. And that is the combat of Hellblade 2, which a lot of
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
really
good
want to
call
see
out.
what it looks like.
Mhm.
Like I said, I have heard some things about the Hellblade development where we are going to be incredibly surprised on how brutal the combat is and how the open environments are going to really lend that God of War-esque feel. This is what I'm hearing. Whether that in fact is the case, we hopefully we'll find out something today. That would be kind of dope. But before we talk to Josh, who's making an appearance here, Josh, welcome, brother. We have Brigaders Blue drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, glad you're back home and doing better, Boom, brother. Thank you so much for the generosity and the kind words. Eli Slomovich, good friend, all the way from Israel, folks. We talk almost every day, which is pretty cool. He's a very good friend. I would even call him a brother. He drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, glad you're okay, Boom. I think we get third party, but also Halo Season 4 update. That would be cool. The Hi-Fi Rush DLC announcement, that would be even cooler. And of course, Infinite Umbra would probably lose his S if they did that, because he only beat the game like 17 times. We also have, due to the League 10 hidden achievements on Xbox Live. Going to be great, brother. Thank you so much for that. But Josh, man, how are you doing, brother? People say I'm the busiest guy. I think you got me beat tenfold, dude. How the heck are you?
I am amazing. I'm so glad to be here. The showcase was an absolute joy to watch, and really
everything we wanted.
The retort, like everything online right now, I'm just like, what is like what? Why is there so many straws being grasped at? I don't understand.
We're gonna get into it. I mean, again, we'll cover whatever your beautiful mind wants to talk about. But yeah, it's pretty unbelievable that everyone that is anti-Xbox is always asking for Xbox to compete, right? Like, go and compete, Xbox. Give us a run for our money, PlayStation universe. And when they do, it's always a problem. It's always someone trying to Craigify the situation, and it's boring. If you are part of that group, you're pathetic, because I thought that at the end of the day, we're supposed to play games and enjoy them. I enjoy games everywhere. If you don't, that's okay. That's how you want to live your life. You live it that way. That's fine. But you're missing out. Who wants to miss out on experiences that something like Tears of the Kingdom? My game of the year right now. That game is just phenomenal. Now, is that going to be eclipsed potentially by Starfield after what we saw? Yeah, probably. Because Starfield is exactly what I want. I'm like a squirrel. Someone actually made a mention of that. I go, here's the mission. And I look over here and I see something. And I go over there. And I know the mission's over here. Then I see something else over there. And by the time I'm done, I'm all the way back around the universe, and I haven't even gone to the first point. And that's what Starfield is going to do for me. I'm very excited for that. But Infinite Umbra, how the heck are you, man, with the best singing voice on these YouTube streets, brother? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I mean, who doesn't right now in the Xbox community after what we had? You know, I feel like it was probably a top 3 of all time showcase. So
yeah,
I'm still on that high right now. Then, of course, I'm still playing me some Diablo, as we call it.
Nice. We haven't started. My wife and I, we're going to start this weekend. I cannot wait to get into it. I keep seeing. I saw your picture with he looks like someone from the Red Guard, bro. He looks dope.
Kind of like Scorpion a little bit. Get over
A
here.
little bit, yes.
Yeah, I'm loving it, man. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I didn't know you were sick, by the way, the other day. I didn't know that. So
Oh yeah, I
glad you're
appreciate
feeling
it, brother.
better.
Thank you. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's I thought it was having a heart attack. Honestly, it just I you know, it's funny. About 2 weeks ago, unfortunately, Cognito had gotten very sick. Everyone knew that,
Mm-hmm.
and I had spoken to him when he was actually at the hospital, and he said something to me. Well, he said a lot of things to me, but specifically, what stood out for me is you got to listen to your body, Boom. And I had just finished my Pilates set, and I wasn't feeling good. I knew something was wrong. My heart was racing, and it doesn't race like that. Like, you know, it just doesn't. And I was like, oh man, I got the show in an hour. I really don't want to miss it. There's a lot to talk about. You know, you got the CMA stuff. So I took a walk downstairs to kind of get some fresh air. I came back up, and it just would not relent. And it was like something was sitting on my chest. And I was like, you know what? It's time to go. And yeah, they thought it was a heart attack. It turns out it was just a really bad asthma attack that might have been contributed due to that miserable air that we had here for a couple of days. Even though I was wearing a mask, I still, you know, I might have still inhaled some stuff. So at the end of the day, I'm back. Not 100% because I'm still a little wiped out, but
Yeah.
back enough to do a show, which we're here to do right now. But
back in business. Well,
yeah,
I'm glad
100%
you're feeling
back in
better, brother.
business.
Same
Yeah,
for
I
you,
appreciate
Referee.
it, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Absolutely.
But listen, folks, let's get into the controversy that has been surrounding two outstanding games, and they weren't just shown in a way and you're like, maybe I'll play it, maybe I'll download it. Fable punched so hard it was ridiculous. And you and say what you want. Again, we're gonna have this conversation about the 30 frames. I get it. There are a lot of gamers that were like, yeah, I kind of wanted that performance mode, the 1440p. But I think that interview on IGN with Todd Howard did more than enough to answer the questions. They have a vision. They want your vision, and he said it. We had it running at 60, but it didn't run at 60. That didn't have chop all the time. On a lock 30, it runs perfect. Now, I'm sure there's going to be the modding community that's going to do what they usually do. And in a few weeks, maybe even a month after the game launches, there'll be a 60 frames mode. And if you are a PCMR, you'll go out there and you'll get Starfield and you'll play to your heart's content at 60 frames. For me, I'm okay with the 30 because of what this game is offering me. What we saw running at 30 was phenomenal. And I think it's going to be big. Retri, I want to bring you in first on this because you have a lot to say regarding the controversy, if you will. We'll start off with Starfield and we'll move on to Fable. And hopefully by that time, we will get to the start of the show. And like I said, folks, don't worry. I can't blow it up on the screen because I'm screen sharing. As soon as it starts, I'll be able to make it full screen and you'll be able to watch right along with us. But Retri, is there real controversy here?
I think, I don't know, Boom. I think it depends on who you ask. I'm coming from the 60 FPS camp. So I'm on the side of I wanted this to be 60. But then I watched the direct and I started just not to care. Like we were saying in the green room, I was so thoroughly impressed with the gunplay mechanics, which was the one thing I was staring at Starfield and waiting for it to just not be good because I haven't been a real big fan of Bethesda's gameplay when it comes to that specifically. And what I watched during the direct with Starfield just absolutely amazed me. I was staring at, I was watching it. I was seeing how fluid it was. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like Destiny in that way. It doesn't
Got a
seem like
Mass
this
Effect
game,
feeling too.
yeah, it doesn't seem like this needs 60. And if the thing is, if you, like Todd said during the interview, they were hitting 60 in several sections, but if you're not getting, like Daniel brought this up in the green room too, and I 100, this is what I took out of that as well. He was thinking exactly what I was thinking. Like if you can't hit that solidly, why would you want a choppy frame rate? What if you don't have a TV with VRR? What if you don't have these technologies? The experience is not going to be good for you. So you're way better off locking in a 30 than you are getting a frame rate that's all over the place. You know what I mean? I think anyone who knows anything about this stuff, technology-wise, is going to agree with that sentiment. Like you don't want to mess with these choppy frame rates. And most likely you're gonna get that on the PC experience anyways. So yeah, does it kind of stink for Series X guys and Series S guys? Yeah. It's probably a CPU thing, you know what I mean? That's really what's controlling this. The PC spec thing, we've seen people are arguing about, well, the PC spec, the low spec is pretty much lower than the Series X itself. Except the problem with that is that spec didn't come from Bethesda. That came from Steam. And those things get updated all the damn time. So the spec you see today might not be the spec that's actually true. And we don't know what frame rates that's running at. So we don't even know if the PC version, the minimum spec, it could be like me and Daniel was laughing. He's like, it could be 15 frames for all we know. And he's right. We don't know. So people are just assuming that the minimum PC spec is running at 60 FPS. I think that's a very bad assumption in 2023 with how many times we've seen these PC games run like absolute garbage. So from what I saw in Starfield, the game just looks amazing. Let Todd and the team cook. As a 60 FPS guy, I'm letting this one slide. I really am. And it's not because I'm an Xbox guy. It's because I want them to have their vision of the game, right? I'm not a developer. Yeah, I've dabbled. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. This is hard stuff, man. And this game, the scope is beyond anything I've ever seen in video games and anything anyone's ever seen. So, you know, let Todd do his thing, and Todd we trust. So I'm going to play the game. I'm going to enjoy the game, and 30 FPS is not going to stop me from enjoying it. I think that's a dumb argument. I think it's Plague's Tale. Hi. Plague's Tale, one of my favorite games, was not 60, y'all.
It got there eventually, which this game could maybe one day get to.
Yeah.
It's certainly going to get there on PC.
I think it will. I actually do think it will. I think it's going to take some serious time, though. But we'll see. For me, it's a non-issue.
Different hardware, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you might be right. It might take the Series XXX. I don't know, whatever the hell it's going to be called next. But for me, it's not a big deal. Yeah, right.
The spicy console, the
Triple
X. I love it. That's good stuff.
Yeah, for me, I'm moving on from this. It's not like it's Twitter fodder. It's people like, you know, Josh was saying, grasping at straws, trying to look anything to bash Xbox. I'm moving on with my day. I'm blocking these people.
Yeah, you know what it is. When people expose themselves to you, pause. Right.
Yeah.
Well, all you do is you thank them for that. You say thank you for letting me know that you're an a-hole. Block.
I love it.
That's it.
Don't interact
with
the
timeline, folks.
Don't interact with these people. That's what they want. Don't give them the clicks. Don't give them the comments. Don't do any of that crap. Insta block. See ya. Move on with your day.
You know, now Sanchez MTZ Gaming, good friend of the program, is always here. So Sanchez, what's up, brother? How's everything? He says they should have hired more people to make it 60 frames. That's not the problem, dude.
Yeah, that's definitely not it.
That they have Bethesda's team is their A team is huge. It's not that. It's the hardware, the story they want to tell, how they want you to experience it. He said it again. Watch the interview. If you have any doubts, and bring Daniel in right now. Daniel, I mean, I kind of want you to talk on this. If anyone has any doubt as to how serious 100%. This was with the team, like there was a lot of conversation during the development of this. Watch how passionate Todd Howard is talking about the 30 versus the 60 and why they chose to go with the 30. Now, again, if you're a PCMR kind of guy or gal, go play the game there. Go play there and you'll get your 120 frames per second 2 weeks after the game launches because the community is going to figure out a way to do it. But the Xbox version is 30, and if you don't want to play it, well, then don't play it. What do you got? What do you got for us, Daniel?
Yeah, so there's one thing already that I sort of want to push back on a little bit is the idea of like, oh, it's the hardware. It is to an extent, in that the hardware is incapable of playing this game at a locked 60. That doesn't mean that the hardware is problematic or anything. What it means is that the game is ridiculous, you know.
Mhm.
And I think if you watch that direct, you already know this. Like, this shouldn't be new information to you. It's one of those things where in the interview, Todd Howard said, and Retro already spoke to this a little bit. He specifically was like, "Hey, so sometimes this game runs all the way up to, you know, a 60 frames a second. But what we really wanted it to do was be consistent. And so they locked it at 30 so that they had that overhead for when things go crazy." I mean, we even saw in, was it the direct or was it the trailer, where there's like a huge explosion and one of these guys goes like flipping off into the stratosphere.
He flies out
Like,
into space. Yeah.
Yeah,
love that.
things like that are things that really only seem to happen in Bethesda games like this. You know what I mean? And that's a sort of situation where you need extra overhead. Like, that's a situation where normally frame rates, I mean, even looking back at like a Fallout 4, if something like that happens in that, then you can expect the frame rate to really take a hit. And if what he's saying is that in this game it won't, or it'll at least take a much smaller one, then I'm fine with that. Like, it's one of those things where, would this game have been a lot, like, would it have been better if it was at 60? Of course. Like, that's
Right.
not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. If it was locked at 60, that'd be awesome. I think we'd all be thrilled with that. But you look at that game and just the scale and scope of everything that they're trying to do and all the different sort of mechanics and tools that are at work in every second of that game from what we've seen. It's like, if you're playing that game and you're like, man, this game would be good if it was 60, but at 30, I just can't, like, I can't get into that mindset of like, oh man, this game only runs at 30, so it's dead to me. Like, what are we talking about?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, you just look at that game, you look at everything they're doing in it, and it's like, this is going to be a generational game, frame rate aside.
Indeed
When
it
you're
is.
playing that game, you are not going to be feeling 30 frames a second. You're going to be feeling wonder and amazement.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's safe to say, look, folks, I don't make excuses for these $1 trillion companies. The truth of the matter is this: you have to make the conscious decision to what is your betterment as a gamer. If you you hear all the time, well, I can't play 30, boom, I get nauseous. You know what? Then don't play the game, or get a really nice rig or an Alienware laptop like Mrs. Boom that's rocking a 3090.
Those
It's
people are
fine.
lying, by the way.
I
I'm
actually
nauseous at
know
30
some
frames a
people
second. No, you
personally.
don't.
Yeah, I actually know people that I trust that have said that to me, because I thought it was complete BS too. And then some people I really trust said it. I was like, oh, maybe it is.
Maybe it
a
is.
thing.
Listen,
Like, in this community,
Did they just
really
start
close
gaming?
people to us.
maybe.
Yeah, have they
Maybe.
not played
I
games
don't
ever?
know exactly. Like, I don't understand how that could be a thing personally, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Who
Listen, let's welcome in Luke Lore. Holy cow, one of the founding fathers of the show. He's back, folks. He's not teaching, and he's here today for your enjoyment. Luke, what's going on, brother?
Hey guys, so good to see you all. Thank you for having me. My apologies for being late.
That's quite all right.
What a week to be an Xbox fan, right?
Yeah, dude,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah, it's been it's definitely been a high note for and just continues, but we'll get to you in a hot second there, brother. I want to shout out J Rock, the famous J Rock from Twitter, out in these YouTube streets and these Twitter streets, keeping them safe. He just posted the Skyrim sold over 60 million copies. That's crazy. And I got a feeling, it's safe to say there, N64 Josh, that Skyrim has a chance to be, like Daniel just said and Retro reiterated, that this could be a generational game that just, I think the water cooler moments, folks, and maybe you don't even know what a water cooler is, guys stand around and telling their ridiculous stories. I'm old, so I understand. But there's going to be moments in this game. And I figured, because we're not all going to go to the same places. We're going to have some missions, I'm sure, that are going to be similar. But it's the stories, Josh, that we're going to be telling each other. Dude, you're not going to believe this armor set I just found, this gun I just found. I found this planet, and you show pictures, and you're like, where did you find that? That's the magic of a Bethesda game. And even at 30 frames, folks, I know people are really angry about that. How does that affect you, Josh? You know, because you usually play at 17 frames on your Switch.
The slander.
I play in 17 frames every day. I play Animal Crossing and Tears of the Kingdom. So I'm there.
You brought him just to the show just to do that to him.
Yeah, just to say that.
Like, I dare you to talk about Starfield at 30 after you played that on 15
Look,
frames per second.
I remember GoldenEye with too many explosions. Okay, like,
Yep.
like literally playing a PowerPoint presentation. No, I mean, you know, like I do. I play Switch all the time. You know, I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom. Mario Kart does run at 60, so like I get it. The thing for me, right off the bat, the moment the camera started to pan in Starfield, I was like, I don't want this to look like a soap opera. I want this to look like a cinematic experience.
I said the same thing. Yep.
The 30 does that. Like the conversation around, like, I don't understand. I don't understand people getting sick from not like with VR. If things are less than like 120 and stuff, I get, I know that can cause motion sickness, but we're just talking about playing on a screen, right? So it's strange to me. It's like I said at the beginning of the program, like it's like, what are we gonna complain about? This game is so incredibly huge. Why would we expect anything else? I don't know. Like, looking at the scope of this thing and everything that you can do, not a single person is going to play this game the same way. I've talked to some people, we watched the whole presentation on my Twitch, and some people in my chat are like, I'm never going to touch the ship stuff. I don't even care. Like, it has, like, I'm not interested, it, like, but it, like, I felt like I was watching like Alien or Dune or one of those, like, it just looks like a cinematic experience. And so I'm totally on board with the lower FPS, especially if it's not chugging. And I mean, would this conversation be different if this was coming to all the consoles and it was still 30? Like, how would the conversation change at that point? If it was still not, if it wasn't going to be console or Xbox and PC exclusive, what would be changing at that point?
I think it'd still be there because it was there for other multi-plat games, but I think we know it would be less severe because where it's mostly coming from.
Exactly.
Or at least I know where it's coming from.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some of the most ridiculous things, like that, Star Wars is going to be a way better game, and, PlayStation's eating well, and it's
consider the source.
And it's funny because Microsoft has the marketing on that, so they're so dumb.
Yeah,
they're
consider
so dumb.
the dope who said that. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
the guy's a straight up dope. So
it's hilarious. So, I don't know. I'm even seeing chat, like, it's an actual problem for some people, man. I'm tired of people dismissing it. Like, how did you play games before 60 FPS? Were you just like
with a bucket,
like sick the whole time? Like,
if you go back and watch some of those claymation like Christmas movies, are you just doing spinaroonies on the floor the whole time too? Like, what's going on with you? In like,
I finally passed that stage.
I don't get it. Also, it's like, I mean, we're not at a situation where every game that comes out is at 60 anyway, right? I think people need to sort of rein in that everything needs to be 60 frames a second thing. Like, would it be nice if it was? Yes, of course. Like, the more frames, the better. Like, we all know that. That's not what anyone here is saying. But, like, we're just not at that point where every single game is at 60 frames yet. You look at the games that came out this year, there's a surprising number of them that did not get anywhere near 60. But most of them aren't first-party games from any of the platforms, so you don't have people, crawling up their ass about it.
I mean, look what's going on with Final Fantasy 16. You see the Digital Foundry thing. It's not even hitting 60. right?
Yeah, I mean, Gene
It's a
Park
way
had to
less-
take
way
down,
less
he had to
demanding
take down
game.
his tweet when he talked about Final Fantasy because everyone attacked him. Freaking Gene, like the
Yeah.
most stand-up freaking
Yeah.
journalist on planet Earth, and he
Yeah.
got attacked. It's like, come on,
Yeah,
guys.
that's why I read his tweet, because people are just mean jerks. I don't know what else to
Yeah.
say. Look, again, if you have a problem with 30, that is okay. No one should
Right.
condemn you for that. Understand, every game is going to be gamed, if you will, by a different gamer that has likes and dislikes. And if 30 frames is going to bug you, my suggestion is play it on PC, where of course you'll be able to run it at your 60, and you'll have a great time. Now there'll be some like, well, I don't have a PC, but I wanted it on my Xbox. Well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Todd Howard explained why they went that way. I appreciate the honesty. Sure, would it have been great to have a 1440p performance mode? I guess. But if the story that they're trying to tell, if the cinematic version of Starfield is what they're trying to tell, now he said they have a lot of headroom at 30 for weird things to happen in Bethesda games as they do. Like Daniel said, the guy was flying out, he got exploded, and he flew out to space. You're only going to find that craziness on a Bethesda game.
Look at the global illumination on this game that is literally going by where the planets, suns, and stars are located in this game. Like that
it's
is
ridiculous.
some next level crap right
The
there.
game
I'm
is
sorry.
super ambitious, and the thing is, it's like
Yeah.
it's so ambitious that you have to understand after that 45-minute breakdown that having all of that at 60 is pretty much impossible with the consoles we have. PlayStation wouldn't be able to do it either, if anybody's thinking otherwise.
Yeah.
And it's like Phil and Todd Howard pointed out, it's not a hardware situation. We already know the Xbox and the PlayStation can run games at 60, and Xbox in particular can, but it's a matter of a creative decision. And
Yes.
and that's important to note. I mean, and I know that there's been concern, I suppose, about Xbox not living up to the standards that they set. And
Can I
yes,
just
you hit
can I just
60 and
interrupt you for a
120.
second, if you don't
Sure.
mind? Cullen Prime, good friend of the program. He's here all the time. So Cullen, brother, thank you so much for being here. He simply says Xbox themselves did say that 60 would be the standard or the norm, as he says, but they also said that they leave it up to the creators
True.
on how they want to make their game.
Aaron
So
himself specifically is the one who said 160 into 120. And listen, like I said, they can do it, but I don't think, and outside of those who get sick, and I've heard people say that they have too. I don't doubt them, but I've heard them say that they do get sick at games at 30. But outside of them, I think that some of us are being a little too unrealistic. And what I mean by that is, it's okay to have a standard in what you would prefer and desire. I wanted it to be 62. So if you're disappointed, I understand that. But I think going to the length of like whining about it as if they're going to delay the game and give you 60, it's not going to happen. So it's like, be disappointed, but are you still going to play this game? Yes, of course you are.
Yeah,
I'm
you
disappointed.
Are you guys?
But I'm going to be on a
Are you guys
day-to-day.
thinking they're not going to put in a performance mode later on?
They might. I mean, look,
I think
we
they
got
will.
proof of it.
I
Look at
think
the
they will.
Solo. They did so with
I think it's coming.
Plague Tale Requiem. So it's not impossible. And the modding community is going to go crazy with it. So again, my excitement hasn't dwindled. Actually, I'm going to say this. After seeing that 45-minute deep dive, my excitement is literally through the roof. At first, as you know, Danny, I kept hyping up Fable, and I'm still hyping Fable because after they say, "Oh, that was gameplay," I'm like, "What? Say what now?" So I thought that was maybe just CGI or something, some tricks, but some of it was a mixture of that in gameplay. But if that game looks that good, I might have to rethink my Unreal Engine supremacy, because that was insane.
Listen, folks, this is coming from
Oh my god.
Umbra, middle name Unreal
an
Engine,
alcoholic
whatever your
with an
last name
alcohol.
is, because that you understand, this is coming from him. So
It's crazy to see that look so good, but then you get to Starfield, and every expectation I had was blown away. I mean, even what they're talking about is 30 frames per second, it still looked so smooth. Him running around with him, the shooting is so much better dramatically.
dude, that shooting is
Dramatically.
is it safe
Night
to
and
say
day,
that?
dude.
And again, we've only heard this. I can't confirm it. I'm not making the game, but we have heard that id came in, the makers of Doom and Doom Eternal, specifically to help with the shooting. I kind of feel like when you see it, it does remind me of like Doom Eternal shooting Umbra.
Yeah, you can see the DNA from them. I mean, what better way than to do it on something like this? It's a game that they've been working on for, he had an idea for 25 years to get this out there on something with one of the Mount Rushmore of creators. And he probably only has like, and he spoke on this in an interview recently, probably only has like a game or two left in him. Why not get all of your best, the ATG team that Microsoft had put on us, and including it, to get this game running as best as it could with the gun controls and such mechanics. Thank you. Getting that solid and things like that. Absolutely. And it shows. And I'll go a step further. The game is much more beautiful than I thought it was going to be too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
100%.
It looks insanely better than what it used to look like. I thought it looked good then. Dude. It looks way better.
I tell you, that 4K stream, I'm saying it right now, made a difference for me. I was like, what the actual hell? Like that 4K looks so much better than I thought it was going to.
That 4K stream made a difference in a lot of ways for several trailers, including Avowed, which I was mixed on Avowed when I first saw it, and then the 4K, I was like, let's go. Okay, I'm in. I can bite that.
Yeah. I thought I get people's complain about Avowed too, but even with that, I was like, still look good to me. Hey, I don't, because my thing with Obsidian is I'm not looking at them to be like, oh, you got to be the graphical powerhouse.
Right.
I wouldn't have minded, of course, but it is Unreal Engine, so I did expect something that was more kind of photorealistic in a way. But I'm not bothered by that because it's Obsidian and they're top notch.
Right.
I know I'm going to get a great
Obsidian
game.
is going to make an Obsidian game. And again, that's a fantastic point, because there were a lot of people that were, of course, trying to make mountains out of molehills by basically saying, well, that's not look how dark the trailer was. Boom.
Yeah,
this looks like Candyland. But here's the thing.
Go play Outer Worlds.
Watch the interviews, folks.
Yeah.
They said
also
they didn't want to make a Bethesda game. They want to make an Obsidian game. Don't you as a player want them to make an Obsidian game?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, upon going back and watching that trailer, upon going back and watching that trailer again, really the only part that's like really colorful is there's this one part where they're in a forest that's full of mushrooms and stuff. 90% of that trailer just looks like a fantasy RPG. Like it looks like,
yes, it does.
Maybe a slightly more, specific art style. But if you're talking specifically about like it's too colorful, it's like it looks like there's one section of the map that just has a bunch of mushrooms that happen to be psychedelic.
People complain about it, like Danny. How many times have we heard? Sorry, I hate that. Like it's too like how many times have we heard people complain that games are too grungy, that look like too much like Gears of War, and then when we give you the opposite, then you complain about that. It's like, dude, you can't win it either way. First of all,
a lot of people in the chat are saying that ID did not help with the shooting, but they did help with the motion blur and the graphics. So I don't know, folks, but if that's the case, listen, the game looks amazing.
Yeah. It looks like Interstellar, the game. Like that's
it does.
Good
it does look like Interstellar.
I got a bit of Mass Effect vibes from it too. I'll be honest.
I said that too before. Yes, I got that. Certainly, the Mass Effect feel for it.
One of the things that's going to be interesting about Starfield, I think, is the first year that it is out. You'll be playing in 30 frames. You'll be discovering things. They'll be figuring out performance and figuring out what they want to do with this game. But it's going to live for 10 years. And I don't say that ironically in Halo Infinite's wake, but as a precedent of Skyrim, right?
Right.
And this game is going to live in ways that we're not even imagining, which is pretty wild because we're a pretty demanding community, a pretty imaginative community. And yet the way this game showcases 3 years from now will be very different than how we're seeing it right now, which we're still impressed by.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And somebody, I think it may have been you, Luke, but you mentioned and maybe you, Boom, where you said that would this game be getting such scrutiny if it was still multi-plat? If it was on PlayStation and everything, would people still be talking about, oh, it's 30 frames? No, they wouldn't. No, would they be trying to downgrade the visuals or mock the people's hair and faces? No, they wouldn't. The same applies to any of these other games. A lot of this is FUD from our Hooved brothers. Let's just be honest. I'm not going to try to dance around it. I've seen them, and I've debated I mocked them as they call me bots and all that. But it's clear that they do. It's just it's just hate. A lot of this, so
It is.
it's
It's
kind of hard
jealousy,
to
too.
figure out. It is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that, and it's a lot. It's hard to, I guess, to process for some people, because some people don't really dabble into this hay fair with our Who's brothers, but a lot of them pass that on, and they'll act like it's genuine concern, but it's not. And
Yeah.
you even have a lot of these content creators who play into that as well. I'm not going to name any names, as not to besmirch your show. But there are some people who really play into that nonsense to try to appease their audience, and it doesn't help anything either, So I don't know, man. I like I say, I think we can all agree that it's one of the most ambitious games anybody has ever come out with. And if you saw that direct and you're still like, I don't know, man, I need 30, I can't play it, and you're not sick by it, I just question you a bit, just a little bit as a gamer. Like, really, that's going to stop you? It's not stopping me. But I will say there are options, and I do understand the disappointment. I'm just not playing the game because of that.
Yeah, 100%.
I got a text from my brother on Saturday letting me know that he's put 350 hours into Skyrim on the Switch. So there are plenty of gamers out there that will. He's like, he has never been much of a gamer. Breath of the Wild, all of a sudden he's like, yo, I played 300 hours. Then he plays, I'm like, bro, if you love Breath of the Wild, you got to play Skyrim. And so, he doesn't have a PC, he doesn't have an Xbox. All he plays, he's like, on a whim, bought a Switch. 350 hours in Skyrim.
Good for him, man.
He goes, I close my eyes and go to sleep, and I hear the soundtrack. Thankfully, I like it.
That's great, right?
That's how you know he's addicted.
He's in his sleep like Foes Roda.
Yeah, but that's the thing. There's the vocal minority that's on Twitter that's having, the creators we're all having these conversations and stuff. But the majority of people that are, 60 million people playing Skyrim, like, plenty of them played it at 30 FPS and didn't think anything otherwise, right? Like, I'm not saying there's plenty of us that are the hardcore or whatever. Like, I get it. I get your frustration. You bought the powerful machine. You want you want all the bells and whistles you want, but like, it's just, I don't know. For me, I've just come to the realization that it's just not the world we live in. Like, it's just these machines come out at somewhat of a they always come outdated because the tech's moving way too quick. Then you get further into the life cycle, and they're like, and this generation is probably the worst because they're trying to, the old hardware is holding everything back, and it's like, it's just been such a weird time. And so, we'll slowly get to the point that like these systems are running the games the way we want them to, and then the next, it's been that way for how many,
decades,
since the Super Nintendo, right?
Yep.
Like, Sega thought Nintendo was launching a new system when Donkey Kong Country came out, and it was just a new way of doing graphics. And then they have to, like, as much as everybody always wants backwards compatibility, and don't get me wrong, it's great, but in some cases it ends up, if they're not like cutting the generational lines and trying to get these games to run on other systems, you have that as an issue as well. How many different PCs are out in the wild, and how is it going to run? Redfall had so many missteps, but again, on the PC side of things with that, like, this choice keeps the conversation from being worse, right? Like, we're gonna complain, but I'd much rather see 4K 30 feeling like I'm playing a movie.
Lock 30, no less.
Lock, absolutely.
Yeah. So at least, like, just set the expectation. This is what it is. We can all complain about it, but at the end of the day, like, either play it or don't. It's on Game Pass. You probably are gonna get it for free anyway if you're sitting in this chat. So free with
speaking
quotes, right?
Of chat, folks, we're closing in. We are maybe about 60 away from 1,000 people in the live chat.
Nice.
Like, that is
new record.
Bonkers, unbelievable. If you're here, folks, if you're finding the channel for the first time, I humbly request that you consider subscribing. Mrs. Boom and I are on our hunt for 13K. We're about 400 and change away. Again, we do this 5 days a week when I'm not having a potential heart attack, as happened yesterday, but thankfully it wasn't. But yeah, usually it's 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, all different shows, all different panels. And of course, we never use hate mongering or shenanigans to sell you the channel. It's just a lot of fun. A lot of guys hanging out, enjoying it. A lot of panel members. We had Doom Cutie on last week, which was awesome on Friday's show. She's amazing. And we're going to attempt to bring in more women gamers. It's hard gets, folks. They feel uncomfortable hanging out with a bunch of guys, and I don't blame them. It'd be uncomfortable. We're gonna strive to bring more women gamers into Double Barrel Gaming, so don't sweat that. Let's hear from Luke. I'll get to the super chats, and folks, we are 14 minutes and 43 seconds away from the extended showcase, which we're going to watch here with you, react live with you. And we don't do this often. We got to do this a little bit more there, I think, Retri. But
I think we should. I like it.
I
I'm
think
already
we should
excited
also.
for it, and we're only 15 minutes away. But
Me too.
yeah.
Absolutely. Luke, let's talk 30 frames controversy. Where do you personally fall for your gaming needs?
Gaming needs. I need the game to be fun. Simple as that.
Okay, sounds fair.
Frames are a good conversation to have amongst the interested community, amongst the hardcore community. Places like, if you're listening to this show, you're probably at the very least aware of your frames per second and the conversations that go around it. I think a locked 30 is fine. Ideally, I'd want 60, right? I always go for performance mode when given the option. But if the game is fun, I will have fun playing it. Simple as that. I've had a lot of fun with games this generation in 30 frames. I had a lot of fun with games in last generation at 60 and even 120. Shout out to Gears. Shout out to Ori and a few others. But the reality is, if it's fun, I will play it. When the option becomes available to increase my frames, I choose frames over 4K personally.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, it's really gonna matter how you like to play games. If you, I will say this. The old conversation used to be, well, if you care about frames, you probably own a PC, or at least a really good one that could do the frames that you want. I think that we're starting to see more people who, like, my computer, this is used, the computer I have is an all-in-one that's used strictly for artwork and for the shows. And it does everything I need. It has all the bells and whistles I need. Mrs. Boom's computer, well, she's rocking a 3090. Now, and she doesn't even use it for really games. I just got her a beast of a computer, and she loves it. But for the console gamer who's starting to look over a little bit and see, hey, they're doing 60, they're doing 120. Why can't I get it? So I don't want to say that it's a mass concern on console, but there are some people that play on console that do want their 60 frame games, and this is not going to be one of them. I'm okay with it. I absolutely am. I think that when you see, I mean, again, if you did not watch, first of all, I would say that if you watch the 45-minute stream from Starfield, watch it. You do yourself a favor and watch it again, because the second time and third time you watch it, because I'm on my third run now, and every time I see it, I see something different. And that is just a stream of a game that someone else is playing. I can't wait to experience that as a gamer, where I'm going to be doing something, again, looking over here and be like, okay, I'm supposed to go here, but I'm going to go over there, and then I'm going to go over there. And before I know it, I'm light years away where I'm supposed to be. That I think this is a life stealer. Of
20 hours later, you didn't get out the first planet.
I didn't get to the one mission I was supposed to.
999 planets to go. Right.
Yeah, it's bonkers. But listen,
so I want to say one thing before you go, Boom.
Sure.
Now, shout out to Oh No, It's Alex, who featured me into his video.
Oh,
yes, you did.
Oh no, you got. Oh,
you know
no,
what I'm
Alex.
talking about.
If you
I want to rub this back in his face, because I stated Zelda, when it got its ratings that it got, I was congratulating it. I was not putting it down. I don't do that to games, right? I just don't. And I said, hey man, this is crazy. I said, wow, Starfield looks like Starfield has some crazy competition for Game of the Year. Now, I'm not new to this. I've been playing games for a long time. I know these content creators, these game designers and such. Like I said, Todd Howard is one of the Mount Rushmore of game designers. I think we can all agree that's not a far-fetched thing to say. Same thing with the Kojimas and such and so on and so forth. I can keep going on and on, but I pointed out my faith in it because I know we're going to get a generationally great game. Well, he took that. I know he had a slow week that week, but he used me, and he's like, oh, you think this is going to challenge Zelda? How dare you, more or less, right? You saw it, Retri.
Yeah.
After seeing
Who
this
is this guy?
showcase, yeah, oh, no, it's Alex. Good guy.
I love him,
don't-
but he was reaching.
no hate.
I love him, but he was
No hate.
reaching.
But he was reaching. And now I want to see how he feels now, because after this hits and lands, I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to tag him on Twitter, and I'm going to make it on my my podcast and talk about it too.
Invite him on, bro.
I will, especially if they win game of the year.
Invite me on too.
If they win game of the year, which I do not doubt it will. By the way, Todd Howard has beaten 2 Zelda games in the past.
Yes, he has.
This could be the third, and I don't doubt it will be. I'm going to be like, you know what? I can't even say what I was going to say. So listen, I'm just going to be rubbing it in his face. I'll just tell you like that. Pause. But
pause. That's right.
After what we saw this past Sunday, I don't think anybody will be like, Starfield who? No, not now.
I agree.
Now you all know better.
I agree. Well, listen, let me catch up on the super chats, folks. We are 9 minutes out from the start of the Xbox Extended Showcase, where we're going to watch together and hang out. We have Norse Monster drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, if Starfield is locked at 30 frames on Xbox, does that mean PC version will have a 60 plus frames version? I have owned every PS on release. Can't wait to play Starfield. Yeah, I'm not a PC guy. I think you'll be able to bump it up to 60, maybe even more, but I don't know if that breaks the game. I'm not sure. But PV 1973 drops a very generous $7 super chat and says, glad you're okay, Boom. Asthma sucks. I battle with it myself. Greetings to all. Brother, I'm sorry you got it. Yeah, I haven't had a problem in years. This is crazy considering I work out 5 days a week. I just had a bad day yesterday, man. But I'm good. Thank you so much for the concern and the very kind words, and of course the generosity. Deceited D drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, he also says, glad you're okay, Boom. I have asthma too, and the smoke from the wildfires is kicking my butt. Yeah, that's what they think it might have happened with me, because I had a mask on the couple days that we had really really bad air quality. But I wasn't wearing like a respirator, which is really what you need to wear. So maybe that's what happened. But brother, thank you so much for the generosity and of course the concern. Kato drops a very generous $2 super chat, and he also says, extremely glad you were okay, brother. Thank you so much for the generosity and of course the concern as well. Sith Lord, good friend of the program, just a $5 super chat says, glad you're okay. I was worried nothing can stop Officer Friendly. Let Jim Ryan know nothing can stop Xbox's #1 fan. Yeah, a lot of people. I saw some funny chats. Like, my God, the Boom was so moved by the Xbox showcase, he had a heart attack, which is hilarious. But no, I appreciate that, Sith Lord. Thank you so much. We have Michael Mooney, drops a very generous £5 super chat. Says, I'm surprised they haven't used the cloud to offload work to get that frame rate to 60. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Maybe sometime down the line.
Why they need a Sobo. That's why they need the kings of the cloud, a Sobo.
Yeah,
coming next.
Mike, that's a real smart thought. Hacky Sack dropped a very generous $2. Says, as long as the gunplay still feels good in 30 frames per second, I think it will, just based on what we saw. Hey, my brother Neo Mental drops a very generous $10 super chat, and he says this: it all comes down to sandwiches. I need mad sandwiches in my ship. Sandwiches, seriously, with the scope of this game, just shut up and enjoy it. Did I mention sandwiches? Tom from Toonami drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, another MS Microsoft win, FTC case handed to judge from Gamers lawsuit. Oh, is that confirmed? Holy cow. I got to check that.
Was confirmed?
The judge that the federal judge that quashed the Gamers lawsuit apparently has been handed the case from the FTC. If that in fact is the case, then the FTC is going to lose, because they're gonna get they're probably going to win the 2-week postponement, because they can do that. But after that, it'll go to the federal judge, and the judge, if the same federal judge got rid of the other injunction, she's not going to put an injunction here. You got
throughout the Gamers lawsuit, if you all don't know.
The Gamers
she hasn't ruled on this yet.
Shocker.
Yeah.
But she didn't rule on the case, but what she did rule on is no injunction. which is what the FTC would need in order to block this deal. And Microsoft, if they don't get that, it's dead. El Chapo drops a very generous $2 super chat. El Chapo, brother, thank you so much. He says, breaking news, Starfield to run at zero frames per second on PlayStation 5. That is messy, but I love it. I think that's great. Did anyone see Sean LeBree's tweet?
Yes, I was just thinking
was
that.
Amazing. It says, how are you going to play Starfield in third person, first person, or on YouTube for the PlayStation 5?
PS5.
Awesome. We also have Bone Slave, just very generous, $2. Super chat says, glad you're feeling better, Boom. Brother, thank you so much for that. One Pint Johnny drops a very generous $10, 10 pounds super chat. Says, I trust Todd Howard in doing what's best for the game since Starfield is his passion project. If he says Lock 30 is best for the game and its immersion, then I'm cool with that. And I agree. Wolf of Darkness, generous friend of the program, drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, hey, Boom, podcast panel. It's truly fantastic. And Starfield is undeniably mind-blowing. Bethesda's track record of enhanced games fills me with optimism for higher frame rates in Starfield down the line. See, that I absolutely agree.
I agree with them.
No doubt about that. But let me just get let's get back over to the regular chat here. We are 3 minutes. Let me put on the sound. Obviously, it's going to be...
Play that loud. I might be able to sing to this. Let me see some.
Oh, is it really? Okay, so let me just okay, so just chat if you did you hear it, folks?
Yeah, we heard it.
Yeah, you guys heard. I want to make sure the chat
I don't know if the
hear
chat
it.
heard it. Did you guys
Okay,
hear that
excellent.
in the chat?
There you go.
That's that music you get when you're waiting in the elevator.
Right.
You're just chilling.
Exactly.
Yeah, but boring, but it's there. We had a super chat just pop in from Kempy, drops a very generous $5 super chat. Says 4 minutes to go. Yes, indeed. Cannot wait. I'm very excited. I'm hoping that the Hellblade 2 fighting mechanics or combat is shown. I think a lot of people I think a lot of people would bump up their score. I've heard a lot of people say that. In fact, Randolph Thor, a good friend of this program, actually said the same thing, that if his score was 8.5, just hovering under a 9, and he would move it up if we got to see the combat. Because he said for him, the biggest disappointment was because that's gameplay.
Lots of people said that. Lots of people said that.
Same
We
way I
had
felt.
Dirk Griggity on our podcast, and he mentioned that as well. A lot of people did, and I completely understand that. So hopefully, we will see
absolutely.
You have to think
Jimbo
that they would-
Jangles in the chat drops a very generous, good friend all the way from the other side of the country. Jimbo, what's up, brother? Thank you so much for being here as always, but of course being generous, dropping a $10 super chat and says, happy Tuesday, crew. Another showcase today, and my Denver Nuggets won their first NBA title in 47 years. I'm on zero sleep and still full of energy. So stoked for today, and nothing can stop me. Boom, brother, thank you so much for being here. And of course, make sure you drink some coffee so you don't fall asleep during the stream, which is 1 minute and 31 seconds out, folks. I am very excited.
More Avowed. Give me all the Avowed you get.
I want to see more Avowed. Yeah, I definitely do. Folks,
some
we have
Hellblade gameplay.
Yes, that's what we have to see it. We have to see some combat, dude. I want to see her eviscerate some people. I really do.
The reason that we saw Hellblade the way we did, though, is because they wanted to make sure that in the quest for it being kind of the next big game for Xbox, it wasn't abandoning what it originally intended to do with
makes sense.
The first
Yeah,
one. I
that
think
makes
that's
sense.
why. But I am right with you guys. I would have rather seen some combat. That's what I'm interested in. Same with Starfield. Every time they showed combat, I'm like, yes, sir, let's go.
Right.
Yep.
I didn't need to see some of the stuff, but that's how I play games, and that's not how everybody plays games.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, again, I had said it earlier, Luke. I wasn't sure if you were here. I had heard, and again, I just take it with a grain of salt, that the combat is going to be similar to God of War.
That's
the
what
environments, the open environments, are going to be similar to God of War. This is what I heard. We'll see when it comes out next year. I don't know in what order it comes out. Do we get Avowed first and Hellblade later?
That's what we need it to be.
I don't know.
That's what we
I don't
need it to be. Xbox needs that third-person action narrative game to just say, yeah, we've got that too,
I agree.
and your RPGs.
Mhm.
100% agree.
100% agree with that. Yep.
All right, here we go,
Somebody
gentlemen.
mentioned South of Midnight. Yeah, I would love to see gameplay.
Yeah,
for
oh,
that too.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That game looks sick.
Here we go.
Yeah, I don't
Yes!
think we'll see that today though.
Scalebound?
Oh yeah, hello.
I'm just
How you
messing with all
doing?
y'all. I'm sorry, I had to do it.
I love that you said that.
So who's the angel, who's the devil, though? That's the real question between Solomon and Johnny.
I'd like to think I'm always an angel.
Strong start.
They did mention maybe celebrities. Really liking this graphic with like it's
Mhm.
really cool.
I think this is just the same sizzle reel they had at the end of the main showcase.
I think so, yeah. It looks exactly like
Pretty
Pretty
sure.
much. I'm still enthralled though.
yeah.
It's just cool to think all this was at an Xbox showcase. That's the cool
Uh-huh.
part.
You know what's
Crazy.
even more amazing, Luke?
Yeah.
All of this and that showcase was genuinely in like a 9 out of 10 with no Halo and no Gears.
Good point. Very good
Good
point,
point.
my friend.
A lot of stuff was missing, and it's still this good.
Mm-hmm.
No Indiana Jones, no Everwild, no Perfect Dark, no State of Decay, no id game. What is
So
that?
true.
Future is looking real good.
So many other things.
Yeah.
And so many other things.
Well, they confirmed that they're going to have a lot of games at Gamescom. They're going to be at a couple places.
Got to
Yeah,
save
There'll
stuff
be
for
a
Game
Gamescom,
Awards
there'll be a
too.
TGS.
Yeah,
Yep.
they even mentioned
QuakeCon's still
VGAs.
happening,
Yeah.
but I think they said this year they're not doing any like panels. I think it's just the BYOB or BYOC.
Bring your own
so,
beer.
I love the
So I
idea that they're
don't
holding
know.
something big for Game Awards, though. You know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
oh, I'm sure they
Smart.
are.
Welcome to the Xbox Games
Tina
Showcase
Amini.
Extended. My name is Tina
Forgot
Amini,
you
and
worked
I'm
here.
here to dive a little bit more into the games you saw at our recent Xbox Games Showcase. Showcase featured 27 ambitious games, all coming to Xbox. Games like Clockwork Revolution from In Exile
hell
Entertainment, Fable from Playground Games, and from our partners, Star Wars Outlaws from Ubisoft Massive in collaboration with Lucasfilm Games, and Kunitsu Gami, Path of the Goddess from Capcom.
Just gonna say presented
Today,
by.
we'll take a closer look at some other
Diablo.
games from our showcase lineup and introduce you to some more games too. We've got the game
More
director of
games.
Avowed from Obsidian Entertainment breaking down the game's trailer, and the game director of Hi-Fi Rush from Tango Gameworks is here to tell us about their newest update.
I interviewed him.
You'll also hear from Sarah Bond, head of the Gaming Ecosystem Organization for Xbox, who will tell us more about a program to bring games from underrepresented developers with unique visions to Xbox and Game Pass. And we may just have a few other fun guests in store for you too, so stay tuned. But first, let's check out the rainy streets and sinister markets of Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty.
Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to welcome you to this exclusive Xbox store over Black Market, one of the locations in Dogtown that you are going to be able to explore in Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. As you can see, Dogtown welcomes you with an open arms.
Too tame?
This is Black Market, a location where you as a player, as a mercenary, you can obtain unique cyberware and weapons, things that you cannot find anywhere in this world. Dogtown is a part of Night City, but has its own very distinct look and vibe. It's outside of the jurisdiction of NCPD attracting all kinds of eccentrics and dangerous characters.
Radical mods, Jim. Never seen anything like that on a non-maelstromer.
You mean this? Ain't seen nothing yet. Check this out. Or this here.
We have put a lot of work into making the world feel more alive. Small scenes, secrets to find, Easter eggs, make this place feel more vibrant and more believable.
Maintenance accessories.
But what's inescapable in Dogtown is Kurt Hansen. Kurt is a leader of Borges militia who rules Dogtown with an iron fist.
You've come to the right place. NCPD, gang wars, not in Dogtown. Taxes, who the f needs them? In Dogtown, I keep your business safe as long as you abide by my rules.
A really nice guy, as you can see.
I thought so.
The black market also is a place where you can find new illegal weapons and goods. They are some of the most powerful items in the world, but are often much more dangerous to use. A new cyberware capacity system, which leads you to push your body to the limit and give you new abilities to deliver more thrilling gameplay experiences, like the air dash or the ability to see the enemies through the walls, or change your appearance to lose the heat. The Borges is the authorities of Dogtown, and they are more dangerous than NCPD. When you as a player commit crimes in Dogtown, they are the guys who are going to chase you. We have completely overhauled the police system. Police actions are more
This
believable,
looks so freaking
dynamic,
good. Holy
and
cow.
diverse. The team has been working passionately to deliver you more deeper and meaningful experience, and I really cannot wait for you to find out more this September. See you in Dogtown.
I'm curious
September
to see.
is
Looks
way too
phenomenal.
much going on in September,
Yeah.
man.
I'm curious to see what a black market looks like in a world where it seems like the entire
There's a
market
black
is the
market?
black market.
Good point, Daniel.
Black
Very
market.
We're
good
not
point.
done talking about CD Projekt
So-
Red's next dive into the story between
see
V
more
and
of
Johnny
Armini,
just
man.
yet.
Yeah,
In
Present
fact,
keep her around.
we're here with the voice and
She's great.
stylings
I
of
like
her
Johnny
hosting skills are
Silverhand,
really great.
Keanu Reeves
Yeah.
himself. Welcome.
And she's a
Thank
looker.
you.
That
It's
doesn't
a
hurt.
pleasure to be here.
That's what I really
Likewise.
meant.
Well,
Yeah, I
Get
know.
What
to
a world
Liberty
where we totally
introduces us to
failed
an
the
entirely
CDPR,
new
though.
location in
Based on
Night
launch
City.
to
It's
now.
called Dogtown. It's this devastated place. It's controlled by a militia. But I think you know more about it than I do. So how would you describe it to players?
Night City has its own kind of levels to it, and I think Dogtown is kind of going down to a darker place. It's dystopian. It has a tension to it, and this undercurrent of kind of violence.
Anyone know if he plays?
like
Does he
and
play?
struggle? You
What,
know,
this
That's a
music?
good question.
Can I swear?
Yeah.
Shit's gone down
That's a great question.
in
I feel like he
Dogtown.
must.
Oh,
He's
I
been
like that
associated with
tagline.
music since like Bill and Ted.
and it's
so he
just,
must
you
to some
know, I mean,
extent.
hopefully it'll be fun for
Wait,
people
what's the
to.
question? Who does he play, or does he?
Oh, I thought you
Play
meant. I thought you meant
there.
games.
I
So
meant, does he play
It's hard to
games?
believe
Oh.
that
Yeah,
there's
he
an
made games.
underbelly to the underbelly
Yes,
that is
No,
Night
we know he's been
City,
in a band,
right?
so
Yeah,
so
I'm
he's
a little
Yeah.
scared,
definitely.
but in a good way.
No,
Music,
it's a good way. I mean, we're all kind of drawn to. We're all moths to the flame,
Mhm.
aren't we? And there's a lot of flame in Dogtown.
Well,
Yeah,
if
any
anyone
of
can
those
take it
mods
on,
where
it's
it takes
V.
off a
So that
person's
certainly
body
gives
jaw,
me the confidence.
y'all can
Yeah,
keep those.
Visa Survivor.
I don't need that
Exactly.
feature.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
And we just saw a tour of Dogtown too, so we got a little bit of that
Oh, cool.
ambiance, and we can see what the environment is like. People are getting beat up. It's not good.
It's yeah,
It's not the friendliest place to be. You gotta be prepared for it, truly.
yeah.
But in our tour, we also hear a recording from a Colonel Kurt Hansen. Who's this guy? Because he seems pretty dangerous too.
Yeah, that guy. No, I'm sorry, I can't say that. My inner Johnny came out.
I think that's
My
good. You know,
inner-
we know the tone now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's ex-military, military too, ruthless, power hungry, manipulative, and Johnny doesn't like him.
I could see that. I mean, Night City in general is the kind of place that breeds that kind of character.
Yeah.
Let's take a step back. Let's talk about Johnny as a person instead of this horrible person known as Colonel Kurt Hansen. I don't know about this guy, but people like Johnny. And I think it's interesting because we know him to be opinionated. He's radical. We've seen that in Cyberpunk 2077 in the main campaign. But as we get to know him, he's got a sensitive side too. He can actually be quite caring.
That's what makes it so much fun. He is outspoken. He's a little grumpy. And he has a right to be. He's been used, he's been abused, he's been abandoned. And I think that through that kind of hardness of his outside, there is a vulnerability to him. And I think what's great about it is I get to play that character in so many different ways, and so the range of it is cool.
And especially for the player, you get to see these moments in flashbacks. You start to understand he's a product of his upbringing, truly, of his surrounding.
Well, let's not get carried away. I mean, we could start talking about nature and nurture. I'm sorry, I keep dropping into Johnny. But yeah, I like his anger. I like his passion. I like what he stands for. He's really just looking for a fair shot. And I love that he's kind of going through music, that there's an artist side to him. And, you know, I got some great speeches.
There's all these moments with Johnny where a tiny little thing, you know, elicits this really fun response. You can flip him off and he double birds you back. Like, I love those kind of moments.
Or rock.
I think another interesting lens of looking at him as we get into Phantom Liberty is his dynamic with Solomon Reed. So what can you tell me about Johnny's relationship with Idris Elba's character?
I think Solomon has some things in common with Johnny in the sense of the military, the sense of being used, abused. You know, it's in the title, right? They're fighting for a liberty. You know, Solomon's kind of trying to reclaim his life, you know, and Johnny's doing the same thing. You know, it's Cyberpunk 2077, so it might start off as revenge, and it might end as revenge, but I think sometimes he feels like he's lashing out at the wind, you know? And I think Solomon has been living out in the kind of the desert of his life, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of hiding and harboring.
Yeah.
But I think he also has that kind of soft and hard side to him as well.
So as somebody who's very familiar with thrillers, because you've starred in a few, what do you think about Phantom Liberty makes for a good spy thriller in particular?
The quest to understand what's going on. So, and the kind of scavenger hunt of information, the mystery, the double crossing, what is true, what's fiction, what can you count on? You can't count on anything. That is really kind of amplified.
Well, thank you so much for coming out to another Xbox presentation. You've got a lot of fans out there in the Xbox community, so I think I can speak for all of us in saying we really appreciate you showing up here today.
Oh, well, thank you.
I love that, man.
Before I close things out,
Me too.
Yeah.
How do you not? How
before
can you
I
not
close
like
things out, I
Keanu
want your help here,
Dracula?
Keanu. How do you think Johnny would end this
You know-
interview right now?
Well, there's a lot of ways you could do that.
I would just say, like,
But,
I'm always impressed by CD Projekt Red. I've
pleasure
always
to meet
wanted
Oh, is that how Johnny would do it?
Yeah.
Microsoft
Oh,
to
thank you,
acquire them,
Johnny.
but I agree. So don't.
Nice to
But
see
Such
you.
a pleasure to have you.
I
thought
know
you
that
were
their
gonna kick down the
expansion
camera
for
or
this is going
something.
to be
So
No, you
spectacular.
see,
And if you all read
he's
up the details of this,
respectful.
like
You
people
know.
that played it, it sounds
You're
like
a
the
good
Cyberpunk
egg.
that we should have
oh,
got the
thank
first
you.
time.
You too.
I only
And
put
I'll see
about
you
10
out there
hours in.
again
I have to
soon.
play it. I have to stop what I'm playing to play this. This is crazy.
It's so
Yeah, this
it's
is
so
a game
good,
you gotta
guys.
dedicate time to. Like,
Yeah.
you
I
have
think
to
my
almost
brother
dump
got
everything
every
else.
achievement in the game. Like he beat it.
Oh,
Right here.
Post patch
hours.
is the way to go.
Squanch game.
Watch.
Wow.
Oh,
All right.
DLC.
Little high on life action. I did not expect Squanch.
It stinks they
Me
couldn't
either.
market this after Justin Roiland's thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Thankfully, he was acquitted, so
Mhm.
Oh, was he?
Thank God, because he was like a
Yeah.
hero of mine. I was like, no.
he was acquitted.
I don't.
I didn't know that.
I'm so sorry for dragging you all into this.
I am not.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Nice. And it's the Game Pass as well. Nice.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, does that mean the expansion is to Game Pass?
I think so.
The world you think you live in doesn't exist. It's a pantomime. Sealed.
Is this the Indiana Jones theme? Are they showing
you
you
get
here?
a glimpse behind the scenery. The
I-
stagecraft.
That can't be right. No, this is way too long ago.
Discover
This
nothing
is like the
but
50s.
darkness. And one
But you made me sit up.
I didn't mean to jump, sorry. I didn't mean to be jump, so.
I'm in a race against this darkness.
Oh, is this the
A race to
Lamplighters?
locate an
I think
ancient
this might be
ruin.
Lamplighters.
Of
Is that Optimus Prime talking?
I need the best of
It's
the best.
But
sounds
real
like
talk, there was a moment where I was like, "Is this what they're doing with Indiana Jones?" Like, I really
Oh,
was.
God, don't do that.
Seeing Nazis.
I would have been devastated.
Yeah, we all would have.
Thieves. Cutthroats.
Indiana Jones, a point and click
Best of
adventure.
the
No.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Oh, come now. Try
Yeah, this is one of the
so
third-party Game Pass games coming.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lamplighters, right? Yeah.
Lamplighters. I'm pretty sure it's Lamplighters. If I
Yeah.
remember right.
Definitely
You're
want to play
going
this.
to help me save the world.
It looks like fun. I'll take like a
Yeah.
50s XCOM tactics game. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Played Empire of Sin, and that game was
Really gave you
mostly
gave you
good.
a date.
Wow. October. That game is
Day
like
one in Game
When
Pass.
it comes to
pretty cool.
RPG
That
studios,
game's like
Obsidian
the
Entertainment
best.
is among the very best. From
Yes,
Fallout
they
New
are.
Vegas
Speak
and
on
the
it.
Outer
Beautiful
Worlds
games.
to Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 and Pentiment, Obsidian Games have placed their stamp on the genre. Joining us today for a closer look at Avowed is game director Carrie Patel. Carrie, I'm so excited to have you here. We just saw this big reveal of Avowed, and there's so many little bits of information in there that I want to dig out and pick your brain around. But before we get into all that,
like that
I'm assuming
stage.
that you don't need to have played Pillars
sucker
1 or
for
2
life.
to really get into Avowed.
You're absolutely right. You don't need to have played Pillars 1 or 2. You can come to the world of Avowed fresh. We want
but
this
I'm
to be a
gonna,
welcoming
though.
experience to new players. But if you are a returning fan, there are some recognizable tidbits.
For people who have played Pillars 1 or 2, can you tease any more of just those general connections to the universe? And no major spoilers, of course.
Yeah. There are a couple returning characters that players might recognize from Deadfire in particular. Players who have played the original games will recognize some of the parts of the world and some of the factions. The Adirian Empire plays pretty heavily into the world of Avowed, so all of that will be familiar to returning players.
We do start to see some of that Pillars universe now in the Avowed setting, which is really exciting, and it's looking amazing so far. But can you confirm one thing for me? Are we still in Aora?
We're still in Aora, and specifically, we're in a region called the Living Lands. So again, returning Pillars fans will recognize the Living Lands as this otherworldly frontier. It's very remote. It's relatively unknown. It's this very dramatic landscape full of all of these different valleys with these unique biomes and creatures, just a really unique visual perspective. And it's a wonderful frontiersy spot that's set for adventure. There's a lot that's undiscovered. And so that's the part of Aora that we're introducing players to in Avowed.
And we also see a character talking to us in the trailer. He seems like he might be a companion, because that would be a very Obsidian thing to do. So what's going on with that?
Yes, this is Kai, and he is one of the first companions you meet in the game. He's an Amawa. That's one of the unique species of the world of Aora. And Kai, as a
guy.
character, brings a balance of this really battle-hardened perspective. He's seen a lot. He's served as a soldier and a mercenary, but he also has a really unique sense of humor. So he brings a spirit of levity and camaraderie to the party as well.
And as he's talking to us, he's also kind of conveying, well, he's straight up saying that he's afraid of you and your abilities. But it's not like the heroes are the only powerful beings in this universe. So I'm curious what that means for who we are as the player character. Are we a watcher again, like in Pillars 1 and 2? Or maybe we have some connections to the spirit realm and beyond that gives us these terrifying abilities?
So you're not a watcher this time, but you do have a unique soul connection to the world that gives you a connection to the Living Lands and to some of the more mysterious forces that work there. The player is also being sent as an envoy of the Adirian Empire, and so they come with both a very mysterious aura, but also a certain sense of political urgency.
Kai also mentions a plague. That's another bit of detail that we get within the trailer. We see a very concerning growth on a lot of the creatures in the world. What can you tell us about this plague?
I can't say too much just yet, except that it is a unique soul plague that is devouring the living lands, and part of the player's mission in being sent here is to investigate and try to stop it.
We also
Looks
saw a
like
lot of
The Last of
combat
Us.
in the trailer, and we see dual-wielding
infections.
pistols, we see
Little fungus
spells,
plague.
we
Yeah.
see swords, we see just a ton of
Okay with that.
abilities. A lot that actually is really reminiscent of the Pillars universe too, but those were isometric top-down view games, and Avowed is a first-person game. So how did the team approach that same kind of fantasy combat, but in the first person for Avowed?
So we wanted to take that same depth and breadth of play styles and combat abilities and player fantasies, where you can play someone who's very magically attuned, more traditional fighter or ranger, and really invest in whatever play style is most appealing to you personally. We wanted to take that depth and breadth and translate it into a first-person experience, where you can feel the visceral nature of the attacks, feel the dynamism and the momentum of those attacks as you're executing them, and that means including a range of options like, as you noted, dual-wielding pistols, which is one of my favorites because you don't see that often in fantasy RPGs, but also traditional sword and board, a whole host of magical abilities, a lot of things that'll be both a little bit familiar but hopefully new to players as well.
And I've got one more question for you, because I know the audience is going to want to know this one, but just how big is this game?
So
I
it's going
agree.
to be roughly comparable to something like Knights of the Old Republic 2 or The Outer Worlds. It is set up as a series of interconnected open zones that players can explore at their own pace.
That's a smaller
You can invest in discovering
scope.
every nook and cranny in the world,
I'm
discovering
okay with
every
that. I'm
secret,
tired of
finding
this
every
bigger
side
equals
quest,
better
meeting every
thing.
character, or you can have
I
a much
agree.
more focused experience.
that.
And it's really up to players and how much time they want to spend in the living lands, but I'm hopeful that they're going to spend a lot of time with us once Avowed releases.
Well, count me in as one of those players, because I definitely want to read and hear every line of dialogue, everything everyone has to tell me, and discover every inch of the living lands. Well, thank you again so much for being here, Carrie. This has been so insightful and fun.
Thank you, Tina. This has been a pleasure.
That was just a taste of what you can
You
expect
think
from
holiday
Obsidian
2024?
Entertainment when Avowed lands next year on
I don't know,
Xbox,
man. It's
PC, and
interesting.
Game
Probably.
Pass.
Yeah, I think it's probably later, like second half of the year.
I think so too, because we didn't see a lot of gameplay, and Hellblade's probably first.
Yeah, oh yeah. By the way, Daniel, we won. We can take Umbra's and Mr. Boomstick's knees on the Hellblade thing.
I'm already sending a collector to Umbra's house.
What had happened was
Oh, no.
세계 3인칭을 주시던 게임으로 엑스박스 시리즈 XOS, 엑스박스 1을 포함해 콘솔과
Xbox
PC
One as well.
플레이가 가능하고 프리투 플레이로 즐기실 수 있도록 개발 중입니다. 퍼스트 디센던트에서 플레이어는 계승자가 되어
What game is this?
Weird that disappoints me.
침략자들의 맞서 싸우게 됩니다.
The Descendants.
계승자는 플레이어의
I'm watching it on the
캐릭터로서
phone.
다양하고
The stream, I think, is kind of
전투
chopping it up a
스타일을
little
가지고
bit.
있습니다. 플레이어는 계승자를 통해 잉그리스 대륙을 통하며
I
스토리를
mean, we
체험하고
started on time,
다양한
so
임무를
it's a little shocking that it's that the stream is
또한
ahead.
최대 4인 협동 플레이로 거대 보스와의 레이드를 경험할 수 있습니다.
Free to play and on Xbox One are my
거대
red flags
보스별
here.
다양한
Otherwise, it looks
과
cool.
구입 파괴 등을
The
통해
first
일도 높은
Descendant, to be
플레이를 체험하실
exact.
수 있습니다. 현재 개발팀은 작년 베타 테스트에서 플레이어분들에게 받은 피드백을 개선하는 작업과 신규 컨텐츠의 개발을 병행하고 있습니다. 지금 보시는 화면은 최초로 공개하는
Has
엑스박스
a
시리즈
Destiny
X의
feel to it.
실제 게임 플레이 영상입니다.
Yeah,
I think it looks pretty dang
Maybe
good.
Warframe-ish
Like-
too, a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
Warframe.
that's a great one. That's a good pick.
열심히 개발 중에
Warframe.
있습니다. 신규 계승자 역시 개발 중에 있는데요. 이 계승자는 불을
Please don't come out
이용한
in September
북한
or October.
컨셉의 플레이를 경험할 수 있도록 디자인되었습니다. 또한 자기장을 이용한 방어 능력과 비행 스킬을 지닌 새로운 캐릭터도 개발하고 있습니다. 플레이어분들이 더 많은 탐험을
I don't know if I trust this.
감 넘치는 스토리를
Yeah.
경험할 수 있도록 다양한
I mean, look, it's free to play. You download it. If you don't like it, you just delete it.
Yeah.
개발하고 있습니다.
Good point.
그리고 많은 분들이 요청하셨던 코스메틱 시스템도 도입 중에 있는데요.
got
캐릭터들마다
me
다양한
intrigued.
컨셉의 스킨을 제공할 예정이며
Intrigue's the right word.
통해
I'm there for
성을
it.
마음껏 뽐낼 수 있도록 지원할 예정입니다.
I like some of the
가장
designs are
많은
really
피드백을
cool.
받았던
Yeah.
부분
Yeah, the artwork's
시스템을
really good.
완전히 변경하였습니다.
It's like Exo Primal, Anthem,
변경된
and
그래픽
Primal
후
in one.
That's yeah. In the beginning, I actually thought it was Exo Primal for a second.
감속을 지원하여 조작의 재미를 훨씬 더 증대하였습니다. 이 밖에도 피드백을 반영하여 점프 모션, 총기 사운드,
Like that little
UI와
whip.
UX를 지속적으로 개선해 나가고 있으며 계승자 스킬을 개조할 수 있는 시스템도 개발 중에 있습니다. 게임 사운드 또한 글로벌 유명 게임 작곡가인 스티븐 바튼과 협업하여 보다 풍성한 청각적 경험을 제공하기 위해 준비 중에 있습니다. 마지막으로 여러분께서 가장 기다리실 소식을 전해드리겠습니다. 현재 저희는 연내 출시를 목표로 하고 있으며 그에 앞서 8월 엑스박스 시리즈 X와 S를 포함한 콘솔과 PC에서 크로스플레이 베타 테스트를 진행할 예정입니다. 베타 테스트는 8월 22일부터 8월 28일까지 일주일간 진행되며 오늘부터 공식 홈페이지를 통해 신청하실 수 있으니 플레이어분들의 많은 참여를 부탁드리겠습니다. Be the first descendant.
All right.
Sure,
So
dude.
just a beta date. All right.
Powerborn.
When we were wrapping up Banner Saga, we were really talking about what is it we want to do next.
Towerborn, by the way,
honestly started with
second
the
party
idea
game for
of
Xbox,
making a
right?
game that was
So I did hear that right. Okay.
Yeah, it's from Stoic.
Something that had
yeah, but it isn't
a lot of
exclusive to
replay
Xbox.
ability.
And it's a
Something that
Xbox
you
Game
can,
Studio Presents, right?
Really explore
Yeah, they published it
for a long time.
There are different worlds that we want to explore.
Yeah, this game
Towerborn
actually
is
looks
that
cool.
game.
Powerborn looks awesome.
I agree. I like it, especially after watching
It has a castle crashers kind of a feel to it.
Yes. Yeah.
Action RPG.
Same thing I said.
It's a co-op game. You can play it online. You can play it on the couch with your friends and family. Everybody's moving through the world map together. As the players move out, they start breadcrumbing the storyline that is being told here. From the world map, you go into fun, fast combat.
I'm not gonna lie, that world
You
map
come out of
design
that
is
with
pretty
resources
effing
and
cool. I
crafting
kind of like
items,
that.
and with all their new loot, they can go back to the Belfry.
The Belfry is the player's safe haven and humanity's safe haven. The player can customize their appearance, their loadout, talk to all these different NPCs.
The world itself is a mix of 3D and 2D. We definitely wanted to have that kind of beautiful background that you see in animated movies.
Towerborn is all about humanity's last chance at survival.
Humanity is clinging to hope and clinging to this tower.
It is your mission to try to hold the forces of darkness at bay, to give humanity a chance at survival.
Did anyone remember
The
what was
most
that
important
say?
thing
Take
about
us
the
out of
gameplay is
the
just
game.
it's just fun. And it
Guardian
kind of just
Heroes, that's what this
amplified its
reminds
fun
me of.
the moment you added another player.
I'm
All
not
of
familiar.
the
You gotta be old to
players
remember
can
what I'm
build
talking
their
about.
character in a way that's specific to them. It just turns into this back and forth exploration. Like, let's try to do this one combo, and then let's see if you can do a follow-up. From a couch co-op perspective, that's just really fun because there's not too many couch co-op games anymore.
I'm hoping in 5 years from now, it's in a place that I never even would have thought of.
It's a seasonal game, which is different for us.
Players can expect a new storyline with new quests, new biomes. We'll be rolling out new gear, new monsters, new bosses.
Expanding on the content.
That's interesting.
in a-
I love
in
it.
a
That's awesome.
Continuous, organic way. So it just becomes a living world.
I'm definitely playing this one.
Me too.
Absolutely.
This would be great in
When we
co-op for
started
sure.
Stoic, we decided let's just make games that we feel strongly about.
I mean,
and
the
we
stream
wanna
that we're
play.
showing is not a great
We had to find
representation,
the
but
right
I'm watching on my
relationship
phone
with the
too right
publisher,
now,
and I
and
think we found
this
that
game
with
looks
Xbox.
super crisp and
They've
beautiful.
enabled us
Yeah.
to make the game that
Yeah.
we want to make here.
Like, it's gorgeous.
I
Oh.
honestly cannot wait
There's a little
for the
noodle man.
community to see the game that we're rolling out here. Towerborn is, I really believe,
Oh, yeah.
something unique.
There's that roar again.
You gotta protect the pit stop, please.
What the hell is that thing?
It's a big ass snapping turtle.
What is this?
Is this
It's
Outer Worlds?
76.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Fallout. Yeah.
All interest died.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, I'm interested.
I mean, that is pretty much what Fallout 76 is now.
Hello,
It's
I'm
been
John Rush, art director.
a long road to get here, but it's pretty decent now.
Yeah, I've
I
heard
hope
a
you
lot of good
enjoyed
things.
the world premiere of the trailer for our Once in a Blue
bad
Moon
part about
update
things
coming
like
June
Fallout
20th.
76 is
Free to
it's
play for
hard to
anyone who owns Fallout
put that genie
76.
back in the bottle after you come out negative. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very few games
The
can
Blue
do
Moon
that.
has risen over the hills of Appalachia, bringing with it a ton of great new content for players. That That includes new cryptids like the Blue Devil.
I wonder if we're going to see anything on the Atlantic City side. They're going to show that.
We've also got 2 new public events, both of which give you a chance to earn caravan and cryptid-themed rewards. Defend the Middle Mountain pit stop from waves of monstrous creatures safe and sound. And thwart a horde of crazed cultists.
A little freaky, ain't it?
Yeah, those ones have
With
been in
season
there
13, we've
since like
also
launch,
got a new
but
scoreboard
they're
called
not
Shoot
great.
for the Stars, which celebrates the stars of the silver screen and gives you a chance to earn cinema-themed rewards. And we're not done
I'll
yet.
give them credit for not doing this at the main show.
Next year, we're taking
Yes,
Very
I
live.
agree.
Atlantic
Smart
City.
move.
I 100% agree.
Smart
Where they'll
move.
gamble on the fates of new factions for
Too
the
long in the
opportunity
tooth.
to win big.
And too niche of an audience. Very few. You're not likely to grow
Blue Ridge Caravan
a Fallout 76 audience.
and
I
earn
feel like they
rewards
Yeah, you're
need to.
right.
Last we heard, I think the Fallout 76 audience
Once in a
is
Blue
like
Moon is coming
10
June
million or more.
20th.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's pretty. I
It's
think it's
good,
pretty big.
We'll see
but
you
I think
But I
it's
think he's saying
established.
growth. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I agree with you, Luke. Like, you might not get a lot more new people. Nothing out of Atlantic City.
Yes.
Hi-Fi Rush.
I want Hi-Fi Rush hip hop.
Oh, it's game modes. I thought it would be a story mode. BPM Rush.
I love the look of this game so much. I don't love
Yeah,
it.
gorgeous.
They're one of the better games this year.
Yep. Hands down.
What happened now?
If it wasn't so niche, it'd be a Game of the Year contender.
I agree.
It's an advance notice this time, huh? Okay.
Maybe
Well, I
they'll
finished.
hint at
I'm
Evil
mad at
Within 3 again in the DLC.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about Evil Within,
We've
it's
just
definitely
seen a
happening.
new trailer for
We
updates
didn't see
coming
it
to
yet.
Hi-Fi
So many
Rush
good
called
games
Arcade
coming.
Challenge Update. No joke, there's literally exclamation points in there. That's not just me. So here to explain that and more about the update is
Hello,
game
him.
director John Johannes. Welcome to Showcase Extended, John.
Really glad to be here.
Exclamation points?
They have to be in there.
Yeah. It feels
It's style.
intentional.
It's
Yeah.
style. Yeah.
It's a style thing. Well, Hi-Fi Rush is such a stylish game in general. I think that's one of the things that people really excitedly pointed out when we shadow dropped the game in the developer direct earlier this year. But making a brand new IP is always a bit of a risk. Your studio's known for kind of scarier games like The Evil Within and Ghostwire Tokyo.
Can't deny that. But yeah, this type of game is something I just always wanted to make personally. And I just thought music and action work so well together. And after I had finished working on the
I'm so
Evil
glad
Within
this guy
2,
exists
it just felt like
for
the
Tango,
right time to
'cause
try
without him, this
something
game
new.
isn't here. I'm
And
so glad
our
he's
studio's
with
always
them.
been about just
Keeps
making
him from being
fun games. It
pigeonholed as a
doesn't have to
studio.
be about a certain genre. We're not about
exactly.
making one specific thing.
And fortunately, there's plenty more of that content to come because we just saw an absolutely jam-packed trailer. So I'd love for your help in breaking down all the details, all the stuff going into this update.
Sure. There's a lot, so bear with me. Everything in this mode is unlockable once you finish the game, and you'll unlock an arcade cabinet in your hideout. And by accessing it, you get 2 new modes. One is called BPM Rush mode, which takes the gameplay up to like higher speeds than we've ever done in the main game. And the other is called Power Up, Tower Up, which is a new sort of randomized spin on the rhythm tower mode that we had in the original game. And included in this mode are 5 new original songs to play to, as well as 2 brand new enemies. And then there's special attacks and this whole meta system for unlocking upgrades and rewards. And that's what I can think of right now.
I love that there's so much to unpack there, but let's rewind. Let's talk about just BPM Rush for now.
Sure.
It was described in the trailer as effectively Hi-Fi Rush's equivalent of a turbo mode. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, early on, the team was like, how fast can we go? And in the game, we kind of settled at, about a max 160 BPM. But this mode really takes it up to 200 BPM. But we sort of ease you in there. It's a gradual upgrade until it eventually gets so fast, you just got to sort of think on your feet and naturally react to the rhythm in the combat of the game.
I personally love that there's a lot of accessibility settings
That's
in the
pretty
game
cool.
too. It makes
Beats
it
per
so that you
minute
can
mode, huh?
adjust the game to your own comfort level. But this is a post-game challenge. It's meant for when you've gotten into the rhythm of the game. So I'm curious if you have any pointers on as far as how to tackle that challenge.
As an action game, I think a lot of people want that sort of next level challenge, another way to use their abilities in a new type of environment. This mode does that by putting you at the high speed. But we also have multiple difficulties. We have an easy mode for people who want to experience what that's like, but maybe are not in tune with that sort of high difficulty that's accompanied with this stuff. But then we have a casual normal mode as well. And then we have, after beating those modes, we can unlock an EX mode, which takes up to a hard level where damage is multiplied and keeps you at that high BPM throughout the entire time.
But there already was a post-game challenge when Hi-Fi Rush launched. It was the Rhythm Tower mode. You mentioned that briefly earlier. That's the one where you face just increasingly difficult combat. So how has that evolved with the Power Up Tower Up mode?
So the Rhythm Tower mode was kind of like a very curated experience. And while it was very challenging, you can prepare, go in and sort of customize your character, know what you're getting into. And in this mode, we flip it to the almost opposite end. Chai starts off downgraded. We actually remove all your abilities, and you have to earn them back by fighting waves of randomized enemy sets. And after every wave of enemies, you get to choose from a series of power-ups that can gradually increase your stats. Each of these upgrades comes with either bonus or negative modifiers as well to the gameplay, so you can take more risks or less risks depending on which upgrades you pick. And again, those upgrades are randomized each level, so you really kind of have to have an understanding of the systems and not quite master them, but have a good grasp if you want to go in and come out on top.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, it was a really packed trailer. There was a lot of information in there. It's a chonky update. So what else have you got for us? Because I feel like there's more on the table there.
Yeah, so by playing in the two modes, you unlock these rewards through these challenges that are connected to these two modes. And in those rewards are things like accessories for Chai and new costumes for Chai 808, and even as well as fan favorite Corsica. We have new modes for the photo mode as well. Things like new filters. We have new poses for the characters. We have stickers that you can place on the photos now. And then there are some extra hidden secrets that we don't want to give away right now, which, as you know from our game, we like to hide in there and we like people to find, which is always fun. And then in conjunction with this release, we're also releasing a separate costume pack, which is a kind of take on what the characters would look like if maybe this game took place in a different time period.
Ooh, a little tease. I like that.
And there's some really fun looking stuff in there. So.
Well, thank you again so much for coming out all the way from Japan to Showcase Extended, John.
I'm super glad to be here.
That's all we have to share about the new update for Tango Gameworks' Hi-Fi Rush coming soon. Now it's time for us to return to the second era of Tamriel and the Elder Scrolls Online. ZeniMax Online Studios debuted the trailer for their upcoming expansion at Showcase, and today they're here to break that trailer down for us. Let's hear what the team has to say about the Necrom expansion for Elder Scrolls Online.
I really wish I could get into this game. I just can't.
Someday, maybe. This one actually looks
everyone,
pretty badass.
thank you so much for watching the Xbox Showcase.
Yeah.
I'm Rich
Gotta
Steinberg,
find the
creative
time,
director
that's
on
the
Elder Scrolls
problem.
Online.
And this
I'm
is the
CJ
time
Greb. I'm the
commitment.
project art director for Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, I'm thinking about
One of the
taking one
really
of the like
interesting things
bigger
about Elder
MMOs that I've
Scrolls
been wanting to
Online
play
is
and
it's
just
different
adding it to the
than really
rotation
any other
and just
game out
struggling
there.
through it
It's
for as
not
long as it takes.
your typical
So it would be either
level-gated
this
world,
or
go anywhere you
like
explore in any order you want to.
or Guild Wars 2.
You really
It's
can
gonna be one of those
pop
three.
in at any moment, play
And I'm
with
just gonna
anybody, can play
slam my
any
forehead
part of the
against it
And
until
any
I
story.
get to a point. I feel like
Yeah,
I've
of
actually
course,
Well,
played it.
you're
We're
not
on
playing
Xbox
Diablo
Game
right
Pass,
now, right?
You know, the
I'm not playing
biggest
Diablo
open
right now,
world
no.
All right, so at
RPG
least
on
you get that
Xbox,
safety
and
net.
if you're
The
at
rest of
all
us,
a fan
I
of
think, are
Elder
playing it.
you can go places that
Yeah, I was gonna say I would
maybe
love
you've
to
never
join you
gone
on that
before
journey,
in Elder
but
Scrolls.
And
Diablo has me on lock.
that you've never
Dude,
been able to do.
Diablo
There's
is
so
so
many different
good.
activities to participate in. You know,
Housing.
Another thing that's freeing
got
up some
lore
time
hunting
is
and
the new
antiquities,
season
right? There's the
of
dungeons
the new
and
season
the
of Fortnite.
trials.
The battle pass is
And
just
you can, of
garbage.
course, always
So-
revisit
Last season was
Is
bad,
it
too.
bad? I haven't
We've been
started
to
it yet.
before. We've got
It's-
Skyrim,
I mean, like the
Morrowind.
gameplay is really
Yeah,
fun.
and
They
they're
added some really cool
different
stuff to the
times,
map.
you know, we're almost
But
1,000
the
years
battle
in the
pass, which is
past.
really the only reason I play it,
Come in by yourself, come in with friends.
just has nothing I'm
But don't
invested in.
worry that you're
Yeah.
ever not.
Like, Optimus
gonna have
Prime's there, and
something
that's
to
cool
do,
and all, but
because there are adventures.
I have to unlock
everywhere.
Optimus. I
Well,
gotta do that.
good luck, bud. It's gonna take a minute.
We had an awesome
I know.
trailer during the showcase. Necrom
Hermaeus Mora.
Yeah.
What's it all about, Rich?
Hermaeus Mora is this
I just hope that
Daedric
ESO
god of knowledge. He's not
and
good.
maybe someone in the
he's
chat
not
can tell me.
evil.
I hope ESO isn't like
He is
Destiny
just
2,
focused
where
on
there's been so
powering
many
the world
expansions
and
that they
collecting everything
took the
he
original
possibly
content
can.
and vaulted it so no one could play the
And
original story
what
anymore.
you kind of
You
see
just have
in
to
the
come in at
trailer
the
is
expansion.
Mora
It's
kind
vaulted
of
on PlayStation,
always
but not
on guard,
Xbox.
always looking over and
The
watching
ESO?
what's going on.
No, I'm just messing with you.
And you could
Yeah.
see
He's messing with
some nostalgia in there as well.
That would be
Dragon
funny
Ball
if they
DLCs
did
I
that.
really want to play through the story
Yellow
of it
Green
because I love Elder Scrolls.
You
It's gonna be a minute
see
before we
stacks
get
of
one.
books.
I'll still never
So-
forget the first time.
It's true.
you
Even if I can just get
showed
through the
us
base game and not like
initial
all the
concepts
expansions,
for
I'd be happy with that.
everything made out of books. I remember looking at that going, "Oh my god, how are we going to do
How are we
this?
gonna
Like,
do
how
that?"
is this going to run?" And
We always try to honor the past, right? Because when we go back to areas that people who play Elder Scrolls games have played, they know these lands. We want them to feel like they're coming home, right? But we have the chance to add a little into the mix.
the art team was able to really play with kind of cool, unique monsters.
Yeah, we were given some great places to go
Hell yeah,
for
Jacob,
new monsters
thank
in the
you.
zone.
He says in the chat, yeah, you can still play the
We
original
were
story.
looking
I was
at
mostly
making
saying that as a
a
joke because I feel like you'd have to be an
freeze
absolute
you in terror,
blundering
as soon as you saw
moron
it. And a
to
creature that
vault
has
your main
a deep
story,
connection to the
Bungie.
overall story of the zone.
We've also got the Tavani Peninsula, kind of the Morrowind vibe.
It's always fun to go back to this part of Tamriel because it's one of the most imaginative and sort of like visually expressive things that has ever been created for an Elder Scrolls world. And then, of course, Necrom City itself.
This ancient city that is rumored to have been
I hate
built,
that it's
even
this
before
game
the
really had
tribunals,
love poured into it. It's very high quality.
being
I
able to
hate
play
that it
with
doesn't
that and
even
look at that
flip my
architecture
radar,
of this ancient
and I feel
city of the
guilty about it.
dead.
But I'm like,
And
Yeah, I do too.
you guys gave us a new class to do.
I think a lot of us
Arcanist
feel that way.
draws
Like
their
I feel like I
power
should be
from
playing
Hermaeus
this being
Mora.
such a
Me too.
Skyrim
I
fan.
agree.
We really
and I'm
challenged
not.
ourselves and the team
Yeah.
to make something that didn't.
I'll give it a
feel
shot. I'll report back.
like
I'll go
anything
install it
else.
right
Yeah,
after this.
yeah,
And then
let
I
us-
won't play it for like 6
Everything
months.
we've been talking about sounds
What's
amazing.
It'll be
crazy?
installed on my Xbox.
When do we actually
What's
get to play?
crazy is looking at the
Necrom
gameplay though.
launches on Xbox.
It actually does look
June
pretty good.
20th, and
It
we
does.
can't wait for
Yep.
everybody to
Does.
get in there and see this amazing content that we've created.
Thanks everyone for
But between like
watching
Sea
us
of
during the
Thieves,
showcase and watching
Diablo,
us
I've got
today.
so many
Lots
faux
of
live
exciting
service
stuff
games.
coming for ESO.
I couldn't
in
do
the
a real
future.
one.
We'll see you on
I'm
Tamriel.
definitely
real
gonna get back
MMO.
into Sea of Thieves when that Monkey Island stuff comes out.
Sea of
I got a
Thieves
friend. I
is
texted him like immediately after the show. I was like, "Hey man,
I have like 900
they're pulling
hours.
us back."
You could bring me and Boom into the fold, man, so we don't get robbed.
Yeah.
Come sail with me. I'll sail with you guys.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, spooky.
Boom! I know you just had
Is
an
this
asthma
an
attack.
Outlast game?
Careful here. I want you
Yes,
to have a
I'm
heart
not. I'll compose myself. Damn it.
What is this? Oh god, it's
What is this one?
It's the one that people stream all the time, where you have to figure out what type of ghost it is, but it's just like on console now. I think. What's it
yeah.
called? Like Phasmophobia?
Phantasmagoria or something.
I
Almost
think
said
that's
fatal
right.
frame.
I think it's Phasmophobia.
No,
That's
I
cool
think-
though. I've been wanting to play Phasmo, but I don't play on my computer because I'm not a degenerate. So,
Oh my goodness.
Asante. I'm just kidding. I love you. Oh yeah, that's
It's
not
I
okay.
think you're right.
What player?
I'm gonna crap my pants playing this one. Just like Outcast scares me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Phasmophobia. Yeah, I can't play games like this. Sorry.
Oh, they
Oh,
are
I love
tough
horror
to get through,
games.
dude. I would
I will
never stream
actively
this
poop my
live. I would
pants
look
all
like
day.
the biggest pussy on planet
Ah.
Earth.
World news. World news.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this game. I don't care.
Me
who
too.
says
Have you
it.
played
This
it
is
yet?
a- So yeah. Oh, I love
Did
the
you
beta.
play it? Okay. I don't know about this one.
Beta was actually pretty fun.
I
I
think there's a
cannot believe this
reason
is
this is
Game
going
Pass
to Game
Day,
Pass.
though.
I
Like,
think
I'm
there's a
blown away by
reason.
that.
There's a reason.
Glasses on there. That's he's got some glasses from 2055. What's
future.
going on here?
I had fun with it with friends, but I did not like the TV.
Yeah, and that's why they went right to the internet and said, "Oh, by the way, they're going to have other modes," because everyone's like, "Where was the just you against the dinosaur mode?" Which most people I think wanted. I think that is going to hit much better than the P versus P mode, because I know a lot of people did not like it.
I agree.
It's got potential though. It's got a lot of potential, I think.
Yeah, it looks very very much like
オー
just
サバイバルとは違い、
like dumb
出現する
nonsense,
恐竜
but
や
like in a
フィー
fun
ルド
way.
が
I don't know how to
本
say
体に
that in a
変
way
化
that doesn't sound too like
全世界のプレイヤー
hurtful,
が
but it
同じ
looks
世界
like
のみ
Dumb fun, maybe. Right?
yeah, it looks like
今回
the
は
stupidest
恐
thing
竜が
ever.
出現す
It
る
looks like a
I tell
video
you,
game.
like,
Like,
we had a
You-
tough time
you made it
figuring out
sound
what the hell
worse.
we were supposed to
I didn't
do.
mean to.
Like,
出現してきたらこのようにスカイウェーブの
Sometimes
グラビ
games
トン
are so
ケースを合わ
immersive
せ
that I
て爆
don't. It's like
一網
work.
打ちに
This
でき
is
まし
like
た
pure play.
Yeah.
ミッションは画面上部に表示されている恐竜の
All right,
討
boss,
伐
I
な
got
の
an
ですが
idea. We're gonna shoot
壁
dinosaurs,
時間
but
プレス
also
では
you're
これ以外
logging
の
mech.
恐竜が
What?
Can we call it Dino Crisis?
No.
No,
もちろん
no.
討伐せず
We
に
can't
無
do
視するこ
that.
ともでき
People
る
will
が
be really
ミッション
disappointed
で
if
の
we do
妨
that.
げになる可能性があります。
Are
倒
the
した倒
Stegosaurus
さな
and
いかは
Tyrannosaurus
プレイ
Rex
ヤーの
fighting each
達成
other?
次第です。
I think they just
You
exploded.
gotta
you
be
can,
working
I
on
think you
Dino
can do
Crisis,
something
like
to
a
the
remake of
dinosaurs
the
that make them
original.
fight each
ゲームの
other.
流れは
Here's what I
オーサバイ
know.
バルと同
There's
じ
no
もの
way
で
Exo
か
Primal
な
could
り
be
遊べ
good
ると思
unless
います。
Ryu from Street Fighter's in it.
何やら次のミッションに
Well,
備え
I
て
have some good news for
様子
you.
を描いているようですね。
Really?
I feel like Guile would have to accompany him. I don't know.
That's a good call. That's a good call. Good
スナイパ
idea.
ーの要素が
Someone should
離れ
do
た
that.
り多く出
If
現する
only.
ので二次弾と
Somebody
に違い
should
と
do
ですね。
that.
フレームネオ層も出現するので、クロストロックで動きを止めて集中攻撃のチャンスも
Real
作り
talk
出
though,
せ
I
ます
am
ね。
glad to see Capcom and
また、
Yes,
and,
決意
and
なら
Xbox
Xbox
teaming up,
collaborating
dude.
more, even though it
Yep,
is
this
like
Path of
Exo
the
Primal doesn't
Goddess.
speak to me at all, really.
Hmm.
But this and Path of the Goddess, it's a good
Yeah, it's
step.
funny because you
道
see
中では
this,
大
right?
型
And
恐
you
竜
think
が
Dino
数体
Crisis.
出現することも、
When I
壁時
saw
間
Path
ト
of
レ
the
ットは
Goddess, I
エンド
thought
コンテンツに
Animusha,
相当す
like
るモードなの
immediately.
で、
Yeah.
基本的に
We
は
need
ミッ
those
ショ
two
ンの難
games
易度は
back in,
高く設定
in
されていま
remakes
す。
like Resident Evil 2. I don't know
モ
what
ジュー
you're
ルの
waiting
強
for.
化、組み合わせはもちろん、
Let's point out that
チームメンバー
at
の
Game
スーツ構
Showcase
成な
we
ど、
got new
多く考
IP
え
from
て挑んでみ
Capcom.
てください。
We got
Yeah,
new
please.
IP from Ubisoft
Atlas.
Yep.
and from Atlas. That's
Yep.
Xbox building
壁時間
relationships.
トレットを
I
取りやすい。
agree.
Yep.
この
I
よう
mean,
に
it really
クリア
does
タ
at
イム
this
が表
point.
示され
Not
ま
to
す。
summon Everborn,
そ
it
の
does
後、
really
自分
look
の
like
クリアタイムが
Sega and
Sega.
Xbox are in
ラン
the
クによる評価がされ
because
てい
they
ます。
were because
100% agree.
all three of the
次
Atlas
は
games
バリアント
and
スーツを紹介します。
the
バ
Metaphor
リアントスー
dude.
ツ
And the
は
other
本
personas.
当のエ
Yeah.
グゾスーツと
Yeah.
は
And
異
Yakuza
なる性
series.
質の武器
Yeah.
を装備しており、
so like
Look, if
戦い
there's
方が
Sony
進
and
化した
Square,
スーツ
a
です。
deeper partnership
デ
happening.
フォルトのデッ
I'd
ドアイ
say
は
Capcom
ス
as
トライクを
well,
装備しています
actually.
が、
yep.
Yeah, not on the same level as Sega, but yeah, they're definitely
Yeah,
getting
but close. They're a close
True.
second behind though for the Eastern games. So I don't know. It could go either way.
敵との距離に応
Also,
じて、
Did you see on the
Sega
Giant
and
Bomb
Sonic
Couch
game.
interview
And therefore,
where
他のバリアントスー
he
ツ
was
も
they so I forget who it was Tam or Jeff or what, but someone asked him about specifically like the Japanese games that were shown.
Oh,
he was
yeah.
like, man, I'm really glad that we
Crap
started
on
doing
Square.
that. It makes me he said something to the effect of like it makes me look at Square and be like, come on guys.
Yeah, he said
What
something
are you
about having to like hop on a plane to
I gotta
like
get back on
go
a plane. I
like
gotta get
talk
back
to
out there.
Square again. I gotta go
Gotta
hop
go
on a
talk to Square
plane and
again
talk
because
to
they
them
ain't
again.
doing
が
it.
アルファ、チャージショットガン。
I'm glad that he's putting the work in to do that. I wish that he didn't have to literally fly to Japan every week just to make sure these games actually come to Xbox.
That's
but,
crazy.
But you know what? I'm glad that someone's doing the work. And I think once that relationship is established and the fan base like is established on Xbox,
バリアントスーツは発売後のタイトルアップデー
He
ト
they
で
have some nice homemade
エル
sushi
ド
and
プライマ
some
ルは
ramen. He'll
発
be
売
alright.
後も定期的にアップデート
that
を行
shit
って
is
いき
good
ます。
though.
シーズンごとに
I've
新
never
た
had
な
it,
ゲー
right?
ムコンテン
You
ツ
never
を
had
追加
sushi?
していきますの
Never.
で、
He never remember we talked about you gotta
We
have
did,
fried
we did talk
sushi,
about
dude.
that.
It'll change
Yeah,
your
get the
life.
tempura.
Oh
それ
my
では、大
god.
ゲーム
so
でお会いしましょう。
I might try that.
It's really good. Go for. I mean, Sushi might be like a big first step. Like I wouldn't go straight for raw stuff. You should start with the white people
It's
sushi.
great to
Get, like
see
a
the
California
dedication
roll.
from the team
Or
at
like
Capcom.
you gotta build
like
up to
fried
Retro
salmon or something like
partnership
simple.
with the community.
That sounds good.
Gaming has the power to immerse us in worlds and perspectives
people.
we'd
Sarah Vaughn
never
is the next Phil
otherwise
Spencer.
experience. We can fight dinosaurs, transport
Yeah, that's right. The
to a
guy on the internet
dystopian
told us
future,
the next 12 to
explore the
24
universe,
months.
and conjure magic. And
He
we
has
get
his
to do
inside
this
sources.
together, no matter where we are
What'd
on
he
the
say?
planet,
Is it in the next
the
12 months?
language we
He
speak,
said in
what
the
we
next
look
12 to
like, or
24
our
months,
physical
Sarah Vaughn will be
abilities.
taking over Phil's
is why
position
this
from
was an
Inside
Oh, this is
Sources.
out.
I know this guy personally. He's full of shit.
Okay.
And then
Games
Jez
represent
immediately said
all of
this
us.
guy is wrong.
That is
Okay.
why we
Yeah,
created the ID at
I
Xbox
assumed, 'cause
Developer
Phil Spencer
Acceleration
Yeah,
Program.
is not
I worked with
To
the
help
guy.
in the
He doesn't know what the
underrepresented
F he's
creators
talking
and
about.
stories in the industry
Well,
shine.
I think Phil has
We
a lot
call
left
it
in him
DAP.
before he goes.
DAP
he just
already
enjoys
I mean,
it.
I could see it. I would be okay with it.
developers, and they've
I think we all
launched
kind of see
30
Sarah being
incredible
groomed.
games,
So
like A
Yeah.
Space for the
For sure.
Unbound,
Like
Who wouldn't
Pause
Serenity,
positively.
pause.
and
She's
Hoa.
definitely gonna do
And there
like
are
really
many,
great things
many
with the
more
company.
in the
I
works.
just think
You're gonna
also
get me
right now
canceled
when we
if
have
these
both of them
amazing
is
games
the best
coming
time.
up next
You know what I mean?
from ID at Xbox's Developer
extend that time
Acceleration
period for as long.
Program.
Phil just made a tweet, by the way.
What did he say?
He said, "What a great weekend! Thanks to gaming community partners, press, teams, and friends. Never enough time to connect with all. It reinforces me that we need that moment here where we can come together to celebrate. Congrats to teams that show so many great games in all the shows."
Right, I agree.
Yeah.
Do you see him in the crowd at the Ubisoft show?
Yes,
Yeah, I saw him.
The still picture. Did you see it?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh my
We
god!
kept highlighting him, by the way. Look, it is Phil.
Yeah, I noticed
Yeah.
him, and I noticed Athena from AEW. Well, I guess Ring of Honor technically, but she's a wrestler. And the whole time I was like, is she in something? Is there going to be like a Ubisoft wrestling game? What's going on here?
Yeah.
But no, I guess she's just a fan.
That's cool though.
Oh, that's the lady they kept highlighting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, with the like
In the
long
front
hair
row.
where it died on the
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know who that was.
She's great, honestly. Like one of the best, most underrated women's wrestlers right now is Athena for sure.
Yeah. So, did any of you guys watch the Capcom show? I missed it.
I
watched
missed it. I heard it was
was
terrible though.
It wasn't as bad as the Ubisoft one, but it wasn't great. It was one of those things where you watched it and it was like, oh, I already know all of this information. Like you haven't really shown me anything new. But at least they didn't put it on Paris. They didn't put it on in front of a crowd.
York
and have it
Newman,
be
the head
just
of
the most
Microsoft
cringe
Flight
thing ever.
Simulator. He told me about this
Like you
once
did.
in a lifetime, out of this world opportunity. So I'm here in Budapest, the capital of Hungary. York, he's around here somewhere. Let's go find him. York!
You and I remember
Hey,
Budapest very
Paris.
differently.
It's great to see you. Yeah, great to see you. Thanks for coming to Budapest. Of course. What am I doing here? I'll tell you on the way. We have a boat to catch.
It's kind of funny that these two have made like a friendship ever since the
I know.
last time.
Fun fact: this guy and oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name from Halo. Joseph Staten. Joseph Staten.
Okay.
These two are the ones that got Crackdown 3 over the finish line.
Really?
Oh,
Yep.
no kidding.
Yep.
Can't believe Paris did all that work.
What's this place?
Oh
What
yeah.
kind of aircraft are you storing in here? Dude, it's much cooler than that. All right, Paris, are you ready for this?
This is
No, I'm ready
the
for this. All right, let's go.
this is the Top Gun team I need.
We're gonna get the Dune vehicle.
Yeah.
Oh, it
They're
is.
making these in
Dude,
Budapest.
I did not actually think that was gonna be the Dune vehicle.
Wow.
Okay. I was just kidding.
I need to watch Dune.
This
I
is
read the book,
incredible.
but
Come on, I want you to meet someone.
Have you haven't watched the new movie yet?
no, I didn't see the old movie. I just read the book. I was like, yeah, that's pretty good.
I love the
Paris,
old
I
one's
would
good.
like
The
to
new one's
introduce
good.
Patrice Vermette, Academy Award-winning
Only saw a
production
bit of it.
designer of Dune. It is very nice to meet you. I'm a huge fan of Dune. Now, Patrice, can you tell me what is
Is that
this
the Ark of the
place?
Covenant back
Well,
there?
this is the warehouse where we actually keep most of the props and the set deck elements that we used on Dune Part 1 and Part 2.
Oh, they must film it there.
Now, York, how did all this get started?
That's pretty cool.
So it goes back to November 2021. Dune had just hit the movie theaters worldwide, and we got a call from Legendary, and they had the idea that we bring an ornithopter into Microsoft Flight Simulator. And me being a lifelong science fiction reader and fan, a big, huge fan of the Frank Herbert books, how could I say no? Okay, now it makes sense after seeing the trailer at the Xbox showcase. I understand why you brought me
right
here.
there on the
You guys
right
want to
there
take
on
a
the
look? 'Cause We
jacket.
actually do have a couple
He's
of
done it
ornithopters
again.
here if you want to see. You want to take a look?
That would be awesome. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Look at this. It's a one-on-one real-sized ornithopter. It's amazing.
Sure, thank you. Denis likes things to be plausible, so that's why they were built to look military, rugged, and stealth.
Now, here's the most important question. Were they built to fly?
Funny you mentioned, because I've been asked that question on a couple of occasions. No, they don't fly. They are heavy. They're 11 tons.
I was gonna say, no way in the world does that thing fly.
Yeah, they should have being built out of built out of like plywood and shit. Like that's not going
In
up.
general, ornithopters can fly and do fly. This particular one, given that it weighs 11 tons, that's going to be a little bit harder, specifically because it's not really doing the ornithopter bird flap. It does oscillation of the blades. And we currently don't have the material science to get the thrust and the lift. But on Arrakis, I think this is absolutely possible. And in Flight Sim, we made it work. Patrice, we're here. Can we go in?
Absolutely. All right, let's do it.
You all do
Normally we
realize
go
there's
in
only
through the,
one way it can go from
climbing
here,
up
right?
the landing gear, but this will do.
What's that?
Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so what's cool about this, Paris,
Did
is
they already
that
put
all those buttons are
the
actually
Pelican and stuff from Halo
realistically hooked up
in
to
there?
the
Yeah,
system.
last
The
one.
engine switch, what you're doing there above those, the red, are basically all the lights.
Because that to
And
me
as
is
you
like the most
notice,
obvious one.
It's all analog because in the world of Doom, there's no thinking machines.
Really?
Thinking machines have
Really,
been
they're like
illegal
first party
for
things I can
10,000
think of
years.
would
that was
be,
actually fascinating.
and I
when
don't
we
think it would be as big of a
implemented
pop,
it, because
but
it's
if
a
they
science
added like
fiction.
the
We thought, oh, it's glass cockpits.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be
what's it called, like
computerized.
the Raven
none
or
of it is.
something,
This is a
the
very
helicopters
practical
from
helicopter,
Gears,
almost like from the
or
1960s.
yeah. That's
So
a good
York,
one.
in the first movie,
or
the
like
Copter was able to do a lot of cool moves and maneuvers. You're going to be able to
I
reproduce
don't
that
know
in
what they're
Flight
called.
Sim?
They're like the
no
enclave
Hellblade yet,
airships.
Ty.
Cool design
We're still
that you
waiting.
guys
That
came
should
up
be
with is
coming up soon.
each blade is independently controlled, so each blade
Okay,
has its own
however you
lift
say
and
your name.
thrust, and that means it can go from
I'm
a
glad they do showcase
really
extended for
stable
stuff like
hover
this, and I'm glad
to
it's
a
not in the
steep
main show.
dive and back to a glide
Yeah.
instantaneously. I would just say thank you that you designed such
It's
a
nice.
It's
like
to
an
kill the
inside
pacing.
Xbox.
All that
see,
good
because that's
pacing
what
we talked
do.
about
We
would
bring
be out the
realistic machines
window.
to life. But
Yeah.
if you want to see a little bit more about the game
This is
design,
the way they've
I
learned
have
though.
something for you.
Like
Absolutely. I love
save
to
all
see-
that stuff for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's good too because it's like this is something that I still
All
want.
right, so
You know, like I still want to hear the devs talk about
expansion
stuff,
is that you
and they are
a
producing it
Chinese
to a higher
pilot
level
on
than
a
I
rocket flying
honestly
on a
would have
Zappa.
expected them to,
Here's what
especially
we
for this
built.
section. I mean, you look at
Basically
the
built this
Ubisoft
section
show, which
of
is
a
like
rocket.
the lowest possible
Here's
common
the
denominator for
capital
this,
city of Arcane.
and it's like
Here's
like
the
this just,
botanical garden.
even
We
this
have
blows
that
that out
as
of the
well.
water, and it's just people
And the first thing we do
deep
is we
diving
train
on
you up.
stuff that
The
honestly
I'm
I
just
don't think
hoping
anyone
that
knows.
all of
the deep
this
dive.
filler,
And then we take
because
you
a
to
lot
some
of it feels like filler to me.
extreme locations, like the bottom of the cliff.
We do get the
hole in the rock,
at the
the
end
red
the
chasm.
cherry on top
You
would
really have
be
to show your pilot skills. And
you
then,
know,
towards the
gameplay
end,
from
then there's a
Hellblade.
secret mission, which
What
I
I'm
Yeah.
can't talk about today.
Well, we know they're going to
combat.
show
But basically
more.
It'd be
wraps up the
cool. I
experience.
wouldn't
It's gonna be
necessarily
great.
expect it because it feels like
Super
everything
exciting.
that they've shown
Hey,
so far, they've
great
just
to
shown
see
us
you
the
again.
same footage that they
Paris.
showed us from the main show, but just
Thank you.
talk about
Thank
it
you so
more.
much for having me.
But yeah, it'd be really cool.
All right, York. Where to next?
Well, I don't know what they eat on the rockets, but this is Budapest, and I hear they have excellent goulash. I know a place.
Well, let's go.
Goulash.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta love Paris Lily.
That guy's awesome.
I gave Marvel
All right, I
Madness a
kind of
gun.
like that. Does this look cool, or is it just me?
It's something. It's definitely
That's
something.
You. Okay.
Just me. All right, it's just me. Every now and again, one of these kind of games just gets me. I like a good
I don't-
twin stick.
I don't quite get the concept yet, but
What was that ball game back in the day that you had to like balance it? Oh my god, I can't remember. That's what it's reminding me of.
oh yeah, no shit.
Minus the
About
shooting.
Marble Madness? Or are you talking about
Marble Madness. It's got a little bit of Marble Madness into it. Thank you. It was not gonna
Let
go.
the ball go.
There's
It's a
also
great
that
Game
one.
Pass weekend game.
Yeah.
That's ball.
There's that one Kirby game where it's like golf.
It's
but
grounded.
You like use Kirby as the ball. And it's kind of fun. I forget what it's called.
There we go.
Lies.
P is a thrilling Souls-like that takes the story of Pinocchio,
Have has anyone played this yet?
I played the demo. I couldn't get past the first boss. I died like 10 times.
I
So
haven't touched
basically,
it
Elden
yet.
Ring all
I
over.
really want to.
Finally, we meet. You are awakened
I
by
should
a
really play the
mysterious
demo for
voice.
this.
Yeah, I need to get around to it. I've been trying to finish Zelda, which has been
You must adapt yourself
a lot.
and your weapons
There's just a
to
lot
face
to that
untold
game.
horrors.
Yeah.
Untangle the unfathomable secrets of the
But
city's
I need to get it
elites,
finished. Actually,
and choose whether to
I
confront
need
predicaments
to make a
with
list
truth,
of all the
or
games
we
this year
rise
that
to
I
overcome
need to
them
finish
on the
before
journey
Starfield, because
to
once
find
Starfield hits, I'm
yourself.
done for the year.
I know.
Like, I'm pretty confident.
So we're screwed.
It can't be done before Alan Wake and Spider-Man.
I'll take a break for Alan Wake.
Avatar?
Spider-Man might have to wait until next year. I don't know, man.
Cyberpunk?
performances, attack
What is-
motions.
Too many games in
Cyberpunk?
September and October.
Yeah,
Each
September is an
and
issue.
every blade and
It's a
handle
big issue.
have its
Because this is
distinctive
dropping in
fable
September as well, right? Because it
Fable
was supposed to be
art is a
August and they
special
moved
Yeah,
it to
process
September and
I
October
believe.
were
casted
ridiculous
by
this year.
consuming
Yeah.
Fable slots. Fable slots can be charged again through
Yeah,
combat.
Payday 3 was
Select
dropping
your
in the
own
Game Pass
special
too,
skills
same month.
to
Like,
vanquish
I could pretty
Jesus.
happily skip Payday
The
3. That's just
Legion
not a
armor
game for me.
is a prosthetic
you?
on P's
No,
left
I
arm.
really
I'm
don't
not
care
playing
about
it because
Legion armor
Skyrim's gonna be
may
out.
fit its
Like,
special abilities
Skyrim?
I have to
consuming
wait.
the Legion
You mean
gauge.
Starfield?
I'm not
providing
Skyrim. I mean
eclectic
Starfield.
combat experience.
Same thing. Skyrim and space.
Skyrim's already
So,
out. You can go play that now.
puppets are all there are?
It's out on everything.
I highly doubt that. You'll have to face all sorts of monsters, puppets only being one of them. You're not quite done yet.
How are the controls
Challenging
boom in
bosses
this
await
game?
you.
Did
Oh no,
some
it
people were
controlled
saying
great.
almost-
I mean, it's
okay.
it was
I heard
quick. Yeah,
sometimes
you would
people saying it
use
was a little
the
laggy.
right button
If a boss
and
seems
the right
too
trigger to
intimidating,
attack.
You might
Yeah.
want to get help from a
Um,
specter.
yeah.
In boss matches,
I just hope that
you
they
can
don't try
summon a
to
specter
overcomplicate
that will
it. That was
assist
one of
you
the
in
things that I
battle.
really hated about
With
the
a bit of
first
help,
Neo.
you will be able to
They had
defeat
this whole like
bosses
stance
before you-
changing mechanic, and I think for people who are like really deep in the weeds in that style of game, that's maybe a cool thing. But for me, who I just play the normal Souls
allows you
games
to
and like
upgrade your
Elder
character.
Scrolls and Bloodborne and those
Use
ones,
quartz to optimize P to your
it
liking.
was just like this. This
Within
is
the
just one
P
extra
organ,
thing that makes it
You
not
can
fun.
select which slots to unlock.
so
Right.
hopefully
This
this
upgrade
progress.
path makes me want to play Diablo because that's what it looks like.
I think
There will
I think
be times
oxygen makes
when
you
will
want to
be
Yeah,
play
it does. It
Diablo.
does look like Diablo's
where you can give
skill
comfort to
tree.
others in sorrow or despair by lying, or you can choose to tell the truth.
What happens if you lie? Does his nose grow longer?
He says, "I'm a real boy."
Your sword grows or something.
Right.
Pause with the sword growing.
I was waiting for one of you to say something.
Meet Liza
Yeah.
P on Xbox One, Xbox Series, and Game
This game
Pass.
looks so good.
Coming to you this September 19th.
It's a shame that because there's so many huge games coming out this year that it probably will not
I know.
show up in like Game of the Year conversations.
Oh, September 19th.
But it looks so
Such
good.
a bad
terrible
game.
date to put it.
Is
Yep,
our
not a
ambition
good
to
date.
sink you into Senua's world.
Oh, here we go.
I'll
To
still
do
get around
this,
to it.
it's critical that we make it as easy as possible for you to suspend your disbelief. One key method of achieving this is our use of performance capture.
That dude is so deadpan.
Social lead.
This is the like 30th take. All right, you don't
Social
understand.
lead.
He is their social lead.
Exactly. You should not name.
What I want to achieve on stage is to get the best performance and best storytelling from the actors, and then to get that into the game as
The hell is on her
faithfully
shirt?
as possible. I want to see what I saw on stage in the game.
No, is it an animal?
It's time to fight. When we were shooting the scene from the Xbox showcase, it was quite a somber mood on set, because that was one of our moments in the game where it's just Senua and the Furies, and we have an opportunity to connect with the player one-on-one.
Are they? Where are you? What do they want? I don't like it. I'm scared. This is too bad.
At this point in Senua's journey, she's had her confidence eroded. There's a lot of doubt, and she needs to find within herself a spark of hope, that strength that she has, in order to continue on.
Everything I've done has led me to this place. We've come so far.
While this scene is relatively simple, the scale and complexity of our performance capture has multiplied to meet our creative ambitions on Hellblade 2.
We shot the first Hellblade in the boardroom of our old studio. It was
Make sure you got a good
very
headset for this game,
MacGyvered
guys. This
together.
audio is going to be on a
In the
whole new level. I
new
think.
studio,
Like that
we have a
Starfield one.
custom-built mocap space, which has pretty much everything we
My
could
Starfield
have dreamed
headset
of.
and controls
We've
are out
got
for
projectors,
delivery.
so we can recreate
Yeah,
sets
dude.
on the
Controller
ground if we
is- I
need
couldn't
to.
afford
We've
the
got
headset.
loads of props that we have
Next to all the
available
other
to us
games,
at
I mean.
any time, so we
That's
can
like I
build
was. That's what I meant.
sets.
This might be a weird thing to be like
I remember
excited
coming
about,
into interview
but the fact that
and seeing the
there's
setup down there,
it seems like there's a bunch of
and
other
immediately
characters in this
being
game
impressed
that are
by
on Senua's side,
the
like
clear
just
commitment
based on the
that had
people who
been
are
made
running around with
to
her. It's interesting. to me.
underpinning
Agreed.
great true to
I
life
don't think we ever saw her
performance
have a
with
conversation with
the
something that
data.
wasn't a god or
So
monster
we've
in the
got
first one.
Yeah,
a
you're
lot more
right.
Yeah,
cameras
it
this time
lends the idea
around.
that it's a God of
They're
War
kind of top
competitor
of the line
versus
at the moment.
just
And
just
in the
that
kind of space
internal.
that we have downstairs,
Unless
there's
all
no
of those people were in her
which
head,
is
but
really
yeah.
impressive.
Mm.
And
I mean, it could be.
it's not something
Good
that
point.
is common. It's certainly a step up from
The voices in my
the
head say
camera
that's not
set up in a
happening.
boardroom.
I hear voices.
With our setup,
in my
we can
head.
push even further
How
on
dare
our
you summon
ambition
Randy
of
Orton
bringing
into this conversation?
as much of our actual performances as possible into the game.
I hate that. He's
Even
such a
down to the
talented
most
person. I
nuanced
love him
of
actually,
movements.
but
But
so when you've got a optical system
he's
like
billed
ours
from
set
St.
up and
Louis, even though he's
calibrated
not
well, you
from
can
St.
track
Louis. He's not from
performance
Missouri at
movements
all.
down to the millimeter.
And that hurts
So
me.
we can
I don't
see
actually
somebody
remember, but I
shuffling
remember
their
finding out that
finger
he's
on
not
the
from St. Louis at
table
all and being
or
like, "How
just
dare you?
wiggling
I
them
thought you were
very
my
gently.
boy."
You can see hesitation and breath.
Because I was born
There's
there.
no need to push the action and overact. You can just.
I had a
be your
feeling you
character.
weren't a native Texan.
I'm here now.
Nope. I did get here when I was like 12, though, so I may as well be at this point.
Oh yeah, you're pretty much
immersion
indoctrinated in
for
there.
the player, and that's
I love
why
this
we
studio,
go to these
man.
lengths
It's so
to try and
huge.
get that extra
Doing some good work. Is
fidelity.
that supposed to be like
of
something from Star Wars?
performance
What the hell is
into
on
the
her
game.
shirt? I wish you hadn't said that.
no
damn
idea.
thing.
What
I'm
do you
trying
want me to
figure
do?
It looks like a rabbit.
Oh, he's from Tennessee. He's from Knoxville,
With
Tennessee.
performance
Here in New
capture
York.
being at the heart of our character movement, our props and staging had to facilitate our vision.
I don't want to give any spoilers away, but there is going to be a boat in the game. That boat will
Okay.
have several characters on board. We wanted to be able to capture the motion of a boat across multiple characters simultaneously. And we, for
That's
the first time, had the space to be able to construct a proper
These
rig
poor
for
guys.
this.
Like,
So
having
we
to
had
jump up
a
and down.
That's the job I
platform.
want.
I just need you to do this for 3 hours. Can you do that?
Any
Yeah,
number
yeah,
of
I got
ways
you.
to create that kind of pitch and yaw and
Oh, yeah.
roll that you would get on the ocean. And we got our actors up onto this boat and captured scene with high waves and a storm, and we got
This
incredible
reminds me
taste
of my
from
movie making
really, really
days.
amazing.
When I used to make indie
The most
movies.
important part
Shit
of my
was so
role
much
is
fun.
to make sure that story gets
That's cool.
told. And having these wonderful
Not
actors
on
who
this
work
scale though.
bring their talents to bear on these characters has been such an amazing experience.
She looks like she's moments from crying.
Sad face.
Version of this development diary on their YouTube channel. Cool. Some of those fingers on her head are looking real toe-like, and
My
I'm
name's
not here
Larry
for
Group,
it.
Xbox's Major Nelson. Welcome to FanFest. I'm excited to be here. Here we go. Let's roll that video.
Speaking of people that might retire soon, when the heck does anyone think Larry Herb's gonna step out soon? He's been around for.
He's been
forever.
I think he just does it for the love of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
does.
I'm jealous
Also,
of
I
Boom.
don't
Boom
think
got
he's
to have him
actually
on the
as
show
old as he
like a year ago, right, Boom?
Yeah, 2019, I think it was. He came in right after the Xbox showcase.
Ah, so jealous. That's awesome.
Let's see. How old
He's a
is
smart dude. He knows his stuff.
Yeah.
2020, actually. It was 2020. That's what it was.
Gotcha.
He's only 65.
Is he? Okay.
He's not that old.
He could continue working another
Got
20
another
years if you want.
5, 10 years. Okay, 20. That's fine too.
I mean, if he's just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting a nice salary. Let's not get
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
I think he and his wife had a daughter like 2-3 years ago. So.
Oh wow.
Probably. I think. I don't.
You, Larry.
I don't know the
He's like,
timing.
don't
on that.
quote me on it.
There's
out.
so much going on.
Confirm
in
Larry
recent
Fox.
years. I think.
One of these days, I'm going to go to a fan fest. I'd love to be invited, but I'll also just show up and see what happens.
I know that pain, man. Seeing everybody get those invites this year hurt. I was like, yo, XCP is good. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get invited either, brother. So
Yeah, it hurt a little bit.
Yeah,
My
it's
pride,
stung.
mind you.
It's
Not that I
stung.
wasn't happy for all our friends, because it was really deserving. For like seeing Blam and Ains and so many people there was still cool.
Yeah, I saw a lot of
Yeah.
pictures from Blam. It's like he had a blast.
Blam is so deserving of that.
100%. I'm so glad he went. Yeah. He had a good time too.
Speaking of
Honestly,
guys,
I've
like
never felt
and
so
share
good
and
to be
support your
part of
content
Xbox
creators.
in my life.
Yeah,
Just
hello.
wandering around, I've been
Absolutely.
talking to people, and everybody is so excited about what's to come.
She's so damn likable.
I love
Man,
her.
Xbox is really
Emphasis
hiring a
on
great
empowering
set of people,
creative
man.
risk. And then there's so much excitement for what we're going to be able to deliver going into 2024 and even games in 2024 that we haven't talked about yet. So our mission, our strategy is to bring the joy of gaming
Wasn't that
to everybody,
PCK Blam right there?
how they want to play. And I just feel a real responsibility,
Was
a
it?
real privilege.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, I
fun.
think it was.
They got
cool.
pictures with everybody.
Nice.
Dude,
Going to be at the center of no matter what we
He doesn't usually have his camera on, so sometimes it takes me a second. There was hip
Is
hop
that hip
gamer just
hop?
now.
I think that was hip
That-
hop. Yeah.
That was Hip Hop Gamer. I met
Hip
him
Hop for
in
sure was there.
2019. That guy is
He's
amazing.
awesome.
Did Umbra, did Risky go to FanFest or did he just go to SGF?
He went to the whole thing.
Yeah.
See, I'm surprised they let him through the door.
I'm surprised he fit through the door. I didn't realize how big he was. Holy Jesus.
Yeah, he's a big old man right there.
We'll need more
Like an
resources.
Australian sass.
Hey, let me in here, Mike.
Select them
Yeah.
into view work.
Okay. My nice bigger.
Hey, that purple mech looks great.
Thanks. It's my favorite color.
I will say, like,
I looks pretty good with all the
if there
gun
was any
drops.
time for us to
Yeah,
have
I know,
gone to
right?
LA, this would
I'm
have been a
looking forward
year.
to making the
Well,
farm even
then
bigger.
I know.
I'm gonna
But who's to
work on,
say,
making a
just
home
based on
look
all the stuff that
better,
they've got
and then
going on,
I'll come down and help you out.
like, I don't.
Great.
I would
See you in a
expect
bit
next
then.
year to be pretty much on par.
What do you want to
Next year's
focus on
should be
fabric?
awesome too. I agree with you, Daniel. Like we know
I
what
can
we're
get
missing,
to
so
start with,
it should
and
be
then you
there
can
next
help
year.
me get some
I'm gonna
aluminum.
definitely attempt to go next year.
I'll get some stone also then. That should cover a lot of what we need for crafting and building. Once we've finished, let's head back and help with the buildings. Resupply
What's
to
you
the
guys
rescue.
temperature check on this
How's
game?
it going
Here?
up there?
Not for me.
It's a
It's
mid
cool
farm
looking, though.
game. I think it looks.
I would be more interested in it without
Alright.
the mech, if I'm honest.
Nice.
Oh, there's so many good choices.
All right.
Good grief.
Ugh.
The thing about being a
Who's
content
this? I
creator
guess
now,
we could talk about it because this game looks
That looks
terrible.
good.
Oh wait,
I'm
Nice.
disappointed that we didn't get more in
Loads of
Hellblade.
aluminum
I don't know what
No,
No,
happened.
I'm disappointed on the Hellblade showing.
That's
too.
Game
Also
Awards,
not.
guys.
Let's work
That's
really
together
Game
and see
Awards.
what else we can find here.
That's
After
give it
we
to Jeff
bring
for Game
back,
Awards, I
I'll
bet.
take a look in
Yeah,
some
I
other
th- I
regions
think
to
we
see
might
what
be onto
materials
That
something.
they
would be
have.
my guess.
You got to
too.
give them
Done up here,
something.
so I'll come join you.
VGAs, yep.
Oh, my
does
inventory
have
is
that
getting full from
relationship
this
with Jeff.
harvest. I think
We
should
saw what
build
they
some
didn't give them at
compilers,
Summer Games
crates
Fest. I mean, they
to
got
sort 'em.
basically
Yeah, we
nothing
should
from
probably
Xbox.
build a
so.
fence around those.
They didn't get a whole lot,
so
so
we
Game
can protect
Fest
the
to be fair.
harvest.
Great idea.
From anybody.
Let's get on it.
Here we go. I'll help with the silos next.
Yo, anyone need materials? Because
So I was gonna say, being like
Yes,
content
please, oh my
creators,
gosh.
we see a lot of games that aren't
Fantastic.
for us. And I know
Do you
these
want
games have
us to start
huge
helping you build?
audiences.
Yeah, exactly.
Please, just
It's
please.
not for me. It doesn't look to me. It doesn't look bad. It's just not at all the game I would
What do you think of the
play.
layout?
Also, are those PlayStation
Yeah, it's
inputs?
great to me.
No.
No. Okay.
I'm
That was
almost
crazy.
done with the fences.
I mean,
here.
I know this is a Game Pass date, so that would be pretty awful if.
This
Yeah,
is
but
Lightyear Frontier, right?
Materials, and I found
Yeah.
some drawings
Yeah.
for that.
Really?
Jump in your mechs and come see this.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, they
wow,
showed
what
the
is
X
this?
buttons,
Look
Okay.
at that.
This is so cool.
That
They just
door
both have
is
an X button.
huge.
Well, I'm sorry, on the
Wow.
PlayStation, it's
Our
Pro.
X button, I should say.
Tomorrow we should totally find a way to open this.
I'm
Let's
of
head
the
back to
mind
the
you can't
base
have
and
us
see what we
walking
can
around
do.
in mechs if we're not shooting and blowing things up.
I agree.
Thank
What a waste of a
you.
mech.
He's shooting
What a
cables at the
waste
little
of a mech.
minerals to collect them. He's shooting
I
stuff.
don't use the mech for farming. Get the F.
All right.
I don't know. I'll probably play it. Anyway,
That's the joy of Game Pass, though. You can play it with no guilt.
you're
That's
right.
true.
Yeah. I mean, not this year. There's too much to do this year.
Yeah. Well, Stray has some competition.
No, this blows
Crab
straight out
and
the water.
McCrab. There it is, right here.
That's the straight. Little Kitty Big City. That's such a
Lord. I
stupid
love
name.
it.
Sea of Stars looks spectacular.
Oh man. I saw somebody in the chat when I was watching the Xbox show during the Starfield Direct. They were just like, "This Starfield looks like if Star Citizen was a real game." I was like, "Yeah, yeah,
That's a
you're
good
right."
quote.
Because Star Citizen is, of course, a scam for idiots.
They're bringing Neon White over, huh? See?
Yeah. Again, this game would be more interesting to me if it did not have cards. Don't know what that's about.
If I see cards in a game, I'm usually it's not happening.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, well. Got that one, eh?
The Wandering Village, where you walk around all day.
I wanna
Well, it
see
looks like the
that.
village
I
walks
can't remember
around
the
all
name
day,
of
too.
it. It's like a. Was it like kicking, foot kicking, or something weird? What the hell was that game?
All it did was remind me of Zunisha from One Piece.
Zunisha? Oh, you're talking about Zoe.
Every
Yeah.
year in our showcase, there's one game that kind of pops for me, something I'm very interested in.
this year we got to announce 33 Immortals from Thunder Lotus. And I'm here now with Stefan and Will to walk through a demo of the game, which I've never played before. First time. We have 33 people online, incredibly excited about this. So we're going to jump in.
All right, let's jump in and start playing.
33 Immortals is a co-op action roguelike for 33 players. You play a damned soul who must rebel against God's final judgment. So there are 3 of us here today on stage, 3 upstairs, and 27 people joining us from Montreal in the studio. Hi, everyone.
And we are ready. That's us. Everybody's spawning in.
That's us.
This is 33-player multiplayer.
Keep track of Phil.
Not a normal number of characters for a
play the shell
multiplayer game. How did you come up with 33 players?
We were searching for a significant number where we can all play on the screen.
Yeah.
We stay together on the screen, so 33 felt good. 32 felt good. But as the game is inspired by the Divine Comedy, the medieval poem from Dante Alighieri, written in the 14th century. And this poem has 3 sections: Inferno, Purgatorio, Paradiso. Each section has 33 chapters. And so we say, let's do 33 players.
I think the director of this.
And I love what you said, Will.
This video
when you guys
was like,
started
Phil,
this
you
game,
can't bring your coffee on
33
set.
people at the
Phil was like,
studio,
I
so you
literally
didn't have enough
own
people in the studio to
set.
fill out the full roster of the game.
I'm bringing my content wherever I fucking want.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge when you're trying to do that.
I love it.
Okay, so no
such a
2
nice
runs
team,
are
though.
same. We're actually spawning in a different position, a different situation. We are in the cemetery. If you hold the left trigger, the world map is going to show up. And we can see that we are 33 right now, actually, in Inferno, but we are scattered around the world.
Oh, we're not all in the same place.
Yeah, because we all have to complete torture chambers.
Got it.
To make the game progress.
Okay.
And we are located at the southwest of Inferno.
Yeah.
And so the closest torture chambers is to the east.
Okay.
So let's go there.
Got it.
Okay, let's continue down south towards the first torture chambers. This one, I have a good feeling for it.
The soundtrack, what's going on? The music's kind of cool.
Oh, thank you. This is Max LL.
Good comment, Phil.
Done the music on all of it.
Yeah, it's all right.
I think Boom.
What's going on with the soundtrack? It's good.
We are in Montreal, yes.
It's music.
Close to one
Doesn't
of our
suck.
XGS studios.
What's that, music?
Yes.
It's also in Showcase.
Yes.
I love the community of game creators in Montreal.
Absolutely. It's always important to be well surrounded and all that. So
We didn't talk about your first game, Spiritfarer.
yeah,
I loved. I thought it was fantastic.
thank you.
I
Yeah.
thought it was great.
I love Pragmatic because I'm not sure I want to
As
play
you
with
can
32
see,
people.
this is
Pragmatic,
not
I don't think I have 32 friends that
No,
are
but like, how do you think
play
about
with
that
me
from
anyway.
a studio standpoint, having such?
Yeah.
I mean,
Tough.
I would say
And like
they're
Johnny
stylized
Wildbun said, he says it's going to be
yeah, outside of
trolls
that,
with
very
that many
different
people.
games.
We're not worried
Yeah,
about
oh, yeah.
you know,
You're gonna have
genre.
people
It looked like
More
the
gameplay for
torture
sure.
chamber that they went
Unique,
into. You only
immersive, creative
were supposed to put
experiences that
6
players
into it.
love and that they
So maybe
wanna play
that's like
for.
the like recommended
love
number
that.
or
Yeah.
something.
This guy is
I don't know.
getting out of my comfort zone sometimes.
Okay.
All right.
What do we do?
So we have completed a torture chamber. So
I mean, can you imagine being with 32 other people in a Discord chat?
God, yeah.
It's loud
Oh,
enough
they're
when I
back
play
on
with like
us.
4 people.
Whoa.
Like, no way.
Well, we got to
Okay,
face the
yeah.
wrath of God.
Careful.
No, you just face the wrath of God. It's cool.
Dash.
This feels an awful lot like a game I'm not going to play. You know what I mean?
I have like 0 health.
This is one of like I
New
think only
torture-
2
No,
games
I
at the
gotta get
Xbox
out of
Showcase
here.
that I was like, yep, other people going to play that one for me. That would be
Well, why
great.
weren't they in the torture chamber
Oh.
trying to help us?
Phil's
Okay, these
immediately
guys-
upset with the other player.
Getting angry.
City Skylines was that for me.
I feel dumb about
I'm
himself.
getting hammered right now. Okay.
Come on.
Okay, here's a guy. Can you revive me? Revive me.
Yeah.
I'm the head of Xbox.
Stop moving.
How dare you kill me?
One up.
Yeah, I'm up. I'm up.
Okay. Oh.
Thank you.
I'll
Oh,
say
no.
this.
Oh,
This game doesn't really capture me.
this is the early
I like the
fire.
art style and everything, but it would have to be much
Now we're in
faster.
holy fire.
Yeah.
The wrath of
I
God.
think it's too slow.
Okay,
Just
I'm ahead
looking
of
at
it.
the combat
Okay,
ability.
Agree.
so we
Yeah.
unlock the Ascension battle.
They probably have to
So
tone it
that's the last
down
battle.
Here, can we
because
do
if they
this?
were
Can people
like if
jump in
this
my
Somebody's
game?
going to enjoy the
Yeah.
game.
33
I mean,
Zagreus just doing nonsense on screen,
I tried to do the
it'd be
deal.
insane.
Don't mind me, the wandering
I
soul.
think it's a sacrifice for the
Save
number of
me,
players,
please.
which in my
Like a
opinion is probably
zombie.
the wrong call, but whatever.
I agree.
Maybe
Have
someone.
less
Did I
players,
mention I'd never
more-
played before?
more stuff going on the screen.
I love that Phil's getting like
Oh, no,
bodied in
died
this
too.
thing
Oh,
and like is
wow.
embarrassed by it.
Okay, hopefully the team
Getting absolutely
can
shreked.
carry us.
Hopefully we are not alone.
There's a lot of enemies in this small
Because he's
space.
busy playing Diablo. So.
Gonna try to not move.
I
Okay.
agree.
Don't move, and hopefully someone is going to be able to revive you. Okay, good.
Oh, I'm in.
I'm up.
I'm in.
Okay.
Okay.
Back.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah. Thank you.
So this is the last step.
I think it's my last.
All right.
Phil's really playing this like
Okay.
he's showing him an art project.
We
He's
did
like,
it?
yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
we
this
did
is-
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we
Put it
did
on the fridge. No.
Yeah.
So now we've ascended.
Yeah.
That was first chapter of first book. Is that how I should think about it?
Yeah.
It's the first world, so it's Inferno.
Yeah.
Please, no more chapters.
And
Damn it. All right,
yeah,
that's fine.
each region has its whole big set of challenges and everything,
And this is all on the map.
and its final boss fight.
That's what this is. Well, since we've basically come through unscathed so far, this should be easy.
Phil's going to his assistant. Hey, don't make me play games I'm not interested in. Come on,
man. Can we do this for Starfield instead?
Yeah, it's easy. You saved us from having to kill the final boss.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a tease.
I like it. I like it. Well, best of luck to you and the team and everything that's going on. Can't wait for this game to come out. I won't ask for the date because I know that's unfair. But it was great to have in the show and great for you to come down and we got the opportunity to play. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for watching Showcase Extended. I love these opportunities to show more about everything that you saw in the showcase itself. Thanks to everybody that supported us and have a great week. Thanks, everybody.
That's gonna do it, folks. There's your extended showcase. We'll spend about 5 minutes just giving our. Look. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm happy we did this. We had a great cast. We had a great conversation up front. For me personally, it's a miss. I like the Avowed stuff that we saw. I don't think we saw enough of Hellblade 2. I thought for sure, guys, that we were gonna have some sort of combat, something, even if it was like for a minute or two, just to show her walking around the open world. Maybe, give us a camera looking to the left or to the right, just to kind of give us an idea of what this game, that's what the game is, we know, but how this game has advanced since, I don't know. Again, we'll spend another 5 minutes or so, folks, and we'll get everyone out of here. Retri, what is your hot take on this, brother?
Not great.
Yeah, mine either. I'm not
the
even gonna
stuff
lie.
I agree with you. Like, I agree with everyone saying like we should have seen more stuff from Hellblade. And Avowed they didn't really show us anything new on Avowed.
No,
everything they
they
showed,
did
I'm pretty
not.
sure I already saw.
Yeah.
So I thought there was going to be more of a deep dive on Avowed. That's kind of why I was very excited about this. Not great. I mean, look, these extended showcases I usually don't come away from them going, wow, that was awesome. I was blown away, because it's a lot of behind the scenes stuff anyway. So a lot of that is boring to probably your average gamer. But a little disappointed in this one, man. Like I wasn't feeling it.
Me either. Abacab72 says he thinks that they'll save the Hellblade stuff for its own direct. I mean, that would make a lot of sense. I mean, I would imagine Avowed gets its own direct. I would imagine
that would.
Hellblade would get its own direct. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I
But
think
I
it's
mean,
either two things. It'll be at the VGAs or it'll just be at next year's E3, and they'll finally show us.
I think it could be. I mean, I think it'll be all three things. I think we'll get a direct for it sometime, probably closer to the end of this year, because I think we'll get a developer direct where it's similar to the one we had before, where it's focusing on 2 or 3 games. And I think it'll probably be Avowed and
Hellblade.
And Hellblade, because those are the two. Thank you,
Yep.
because those are the 2 big ones for next year that we know about already. So I think they're going to really focus in on that. I would be surprised if we didn't see that before the end of the year. I also think that Hellblade will be at the Game Awards because there is that association, and I think they are trying to slowly build a relationship with Jeff, because I think they're trying to be like, "Hey, Jeff, could you maybe be nicer to us? That'd be cool."
Well, I mean, honestly, at some point, I think again, Jeff he's a pretty big presence in gaming. I think though, what we saw that's coming to Xbox, there's going to come a time where Jeff's going to come running to Xbox because they're going to have so many games. But we'll see. We'll see. Why do I mean, what's your takeaway, Daniel? Because a lot of people saying that I saw somebody give this a 2 out of 10. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't argue that. I
can't hate you. I can't hate you for that.
I can't hate you for
yeah,
2.
I mean,
some people just said that this was unnecessary. And
That's harsh for a showcase extended, though, isn't it? Like it wasn't the showcase.
It's supposed to be on a different level. You're not supposed to put it
No.
on.
Well, obviously, this doesn't gain or lose points for my show. I gave the showcase 11 out of 10. That's just I don't care what anyone says. That's what the show was.
You can bring that extra one over here and make it a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean,
here's the thing. So these extended showcases, I don't think that they're the sort of situation where they're like meant to be reacted to. You know what I mean? I don't think they're not built for hype. They're built for like, here's information, here's talks with the devs. And I think for that, it was decent. Like you said, I don't think we got enough like new information about it. But also I think that a lot of the information that we did get wasn't said in the showcase. It was said in like the interviews and stuff afterwards. And so I think they just kind of oversaturated certain information instead of having it just be here. But I mean, if people are asking questions about it, you can't just be like, oh, we'll turn into the showcase tomorrow. Because like, then why are you doing the interview? So I get that. I mean, like, I don't think that this was an exciting showcase, but I don't think anyone, I don't know. I feel like if you were coming into this expecting it to be like, oh my God, it's just like another one of the showcases we just had, like that was never going to happen.
Yeah, no.
But I do agree. I think that it would have been nice to get like something new information about Avowed, because I feel like all the stuff that they said, other than like that one character's name, was stuff that we could have either guessed or would have already seen in interviews. Hellblade, again, it was really cool to see them sort of talk about the process behind the game, but I would rather see more information about the product itself, like the final product. So yeah, it's definitely like, this is not what I wanted, but I'm struggling to say that I'm disappointed in it because I wasn't expecting anything.
The only thing I was expecting was, and again, it was a hope. Whatever, some of the stuff that we saw in there was cool. Obviously I never came into saying, oh yeah, this is going to be Showcase 2, Part 2.
Yeah, no.
I never thought that at all. I knew we were going to get a lot of commentary from devs. I know we were going to get some behind the scenes stuff. The one thing that I was hoping for, and again, it was more of a hopium kind of a situation, and I really thought that they were going to expand past what we saw for Hellblade to make that's just all I was asking for, is to see some sort of combat. And even if you don't want to show the combat, I would have really just taken a minute of her just walking around the environment, giving me the idea of, is this going to be like God of War? Is it going to be this wide open environment that you could walk around in? And I don't know. Maybe I was hoping for too much.
That is why, at this point, I think it's pretty clear to me that just looking at the games we know from Xbox for 2024, I think that we're looking at definitely Avowed in the first half and Hellblade in the second half.
Yeah.
Because Hellblade just has more that we need to see. Avowed, like, I feel like I know what that game is, and I just want maybe some more information about like the story or something like that. Like, you could put out Avowed tomorrow and I would already know enough, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas Hellblade, it's like there are still some questions I have about that, so I do think that one's probably further out.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Let's Josh, let's get your hot take on this, brother.
It's what I expected. I mean, I always hope for something like Crimson Skies, right?
Yeah, well, that was on the list. I'm
not gonna lie. Like
that leaked list. Someone needs to send that to me.
There was a so Nintendo does the directs, right? And then they do the Treehouse, and
events,
a few years ago, they did their direct. Didn't really mention much about Metroid 2, Samus Returns coming to 3DS, and then boom, that was the
Treehouse announcement.
Treehouse, and it was like, whoa, this is, so would it have been nice to have like one of those things that was for me out of this showcase? Yes. Was there still some good things here? Absolutely. Yeah. The problem is they absolutely, like you said, you gave it 11 out of 10. What are they going to come back with to follow up? Like,
like I said, it's true. Again, I'm not disappointed where I'm running out and screaming Xbox sucks.
Boom hates Xbox. I heard it, guys. That's what he
there you
said.
go. That's right. I hate
What
it.
he said.
I've
Your
always
all
Xbox
got it.
tattoo removed? That's crazy, Boom.
Yeah, I know the nerve, but I just was hoping some sort of more information because I didn't need to see people hanging off a boat, in Hellblade. Show me the boat, show me the actual finished scene.
The scene, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or just show her walking around past the one part that we saw in the showcase. What happens?
That should have
after
been in
that
a
part?
dev diary. I'm like, that should have been on their website, dev diary. Personally, a lot of that stuff. But,
Well,
which
it is
I
what it is.
always watch, but
Halo
I'm
4
interested
has
to
a
watch
new
that
season coming out, and there was nothing said.
Someone actually
what
said
the
that in the
hell?
chat.
That is so
Actually,
weird.
yeah.
That is very, very weird. Another bet I 100% would have lost.
Yeah, I
There's
would
no
have thought
way
that
I
would
would
have
have
been
thought that wasn't coming, or at
Yeah.
least being shown. I went to the bathroom. Did I miss Hollow Knight? Did they not show it?
No, Hollow Knight's delayed
No,
until next year.
You didn't miss anything. Yeah.
I mean, but still, I mean, they showed plenty of stuff for 2024. I figured we'd
That's
at least tip your hat to it. But
Yeah, maybe.
whatever.
For me, it was just it's disappointing. But listen, it is exactly I guess what we kind of expect for this, right? So
Yeah.
it's a deeper dive. They're going to talk with people. I would say that maybe pace wise, they could speed it up. Don't talk that long.
Yeah,
But,
it
I
was
thought
there
the
was some
lady Tina
draggy
did a good
parts.
job.
Sure.
Yeah, I thought the host did a good job though, because usually they're kind of too fake hokey, like, oh yes, oh happy.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
okay, you're not that happy.
Absolutely, shout out to Tina and Paris. I think that they did a great job, and I'm very excited to see them in future things. I think they're both amazing.
I agree. I like them in more things for sure.
Yeah, same.
Absolutely.
I'm happy to see Paris's growth like that. I talk with him sometimes, and it's good to see what kind of humble beginnings, if you will, to go to that. But yeah, I mean, not all is lost. We had some good stuff. We got Neon White, and we have Sea of Stars coming to Game Pass day and date. So
And Phasmophobia. I know it's not for you, but that's a big deal.
No, that is a big deal. That was
And
one of
Hi-Fi
my,
Rush.
I had to pick one. That was the one that I liked a lot.
Yep, and Hi-Fi Rush DLC. So there are some good things we got out of this, and
High
of course,
on
High
Knife.
on
I
Knife.
High on Knife,
DLC.
yeah, that's
I forgot about that. Actually, that's really goofy.
Yeah. So
Do you think the sort of like slasher? I'm sorry to cut you off.
You
Do you
good.
think that the sort of like slasher art style of that implies that there's going to be like a really bad like D-list slasher movie that we can watch on the couch now?
It might be.
I hope so.
Because that
You
was my
never
favorite
know.
part of that game.
What if
Yeah.
they got like Friday the
A
13th
dinosaur
part
film
1 or
or
something?
Interesting. All right, well let's get Luke's final take, and we'll get everyone out of here. Luke.
Yeah. Part of me feels like we're being a little bit harsh because it is a showcase extended. We did see Keanu Reeves. Tina Amini did a great job. We saw some stuff on a couple games. I'm with you guys on the disappointing elements. But I think because it's the showcase extended, it didn't bother me. But I agree with you if that makes sense. It doesn't taint or sour any good vibes I had from Sunday's show or anything like that.
Oh, me either. No,
absolutely not.
Not at all.
Oh yeah, 100% agreed.
I think we saw here that some of the stuff is saved for later on this year. They could have put that Hellblade stuff in there. They could have put more Avowed stuff in there, but I think they were choosing to save that for either a bigger audience, Game Awards, or maybe the stuff's further out than we think. But I don't think that's quite as likely. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we know
nonetheless,
that next year.
Yeah, it's a showcase extended, so giving it a grade feels disingenuous. This is more inside Xbox of old than Xbox showcase.
Yeah, this does definitely feel like they showed off the project, a couple days ago, and then this is just like the blog post afterwards. And they just
how the
made a
sandwich was
video version
made,
of it.
essentially.
Pretty
That's
much.
what he's always
Yeah,
done.
I mean,
look,
how the sandwich was made in Starfield, I would have been very interested.
Yeah, I agree. Look, at the end of the day, folks, take from it what you will. Obviously, before we get on out of here, though, and we do outros, I think a couple super chats pop in here. Highlander 001 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, the federal judge overseeing the gamers lawsuit to block Microsoft acquisition of Activision just combined the FTC's 2 Rand PI case. That is correct. Yeah. So the federal judge that did not approve the injunction for the gamers lawsuit is now overseeing the FTC's attempt to get an injunction to block it. If I'm a betting kind of a person, and we're probably going to cover this tomorrow evening on Primetime Gaming, she's probably going to deny that as well, because if you don't know what the injunction is, it has to the way that the federal judge works is that they work on facts. They don't work what's gut feelings or ideologies like Lena Khan. It's got to be facts. In order to invoke an injunction, they absolutely need to prove harm, the immediate harm. There is no immediate harm for this deal going through because PlayStation has the marketing rights all the way until the end of next year, and they've already put it on Nvidia, and Nintendo has signed contracts. So there's no immediate harm, which probably means that the judge is not going to give the injunction for the FTC, and if that happens, Microsoft could then close, because at that point the FTC case is dead. And then what that would do for the CMA, well, if whoever Microsoft wins, whether it be the CMA from CAT or from beating the FTC in court, they're going to close over the other person, and they're probably going to have to bend the knee and just take the deal.
I feel like the reason the FTC even did this is because they must have heard word from the CMA that
no, Microsoft. I heard. Well, again, I talk in a lot of circles. Apparently, Microsoft told them that they were going to close over the CMA.
Yeah,
and they rushed to get this done. To try and block
reaction,
it.
huh? Yeah.
So yeah, it's the same way Lena Khan rushed to do the block in the first place.
It's in Microsoft's favor for this anyway, and we all know, as we've been told by Luke and a few other people, like it going to federal court is not what the FTC would want anyway. So
it's the best possible scenario.
Yeah, it's the best part scenario for Microsoft. But Gray Falcon OW drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, did you see how the FTC case got moved to the gamers lawsuit judge? Yes, we absolutely did, brother. Thank you so much for that. Ant-Man 86 drops a very generous $5 super chat. Welcome to the channel, brother. I've never seen the name before. I'm glad that you're here, and thank you for the generosity. He says, Avowed Hellblade Fable, one of those games is coming out in early 2024, so there have to be info coming soon of one of them. And that's the question. Who is going to release first? I can see, because now, Umbra, can you correct me here? Did I see things, and I can't find it now.
I can't either, and I know what you're about to ask, and I was going to.
Did Fable say 2024?
This is what I'm so
no date. No date on Fable.
Notes. It said no date, right?
No date on Fable.
What's crazy?
Okay, all right.
Hold on. Hear me out. So what's crazy is a lot of us thought that. Even Matty Plays. I watched him, and he said 2024.
Oh, okay.
I feel like we must have got our wires crossed or something, because I could have sworn it showed that.
Dude, I
have it written down. I don't understand how the heck I could have screwed that up.
It did not say 2024. I remember, because I did my handwritten notes, and honestly, that makes sense. I really think that's going to be a 2024.
We saw 2024 so many times that we were just
maybe that's what it was. It confused. It's not. It's 2025 more than likely, because they didn't.
That's fine, and it's probably first quarter 25. To be honest with you, which is not a who cares? There's a lot of games coming out, but listen,
the rush for holiday is overblown now.
I 100%. I think there's no need for it. Actually, the first block of every year has become like the holiday that we just got past. It's crazy how many games come out. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out, everyone. We had over 900 people here. We actually had over 940. Wow. I don't know where we got. Maybe got closer to 950. That's freaking bonkers. Big thank you to all that showed up for this. Hopefully you enjoyed the commentary. Let's get to the outros. Retri, sell your brand, brother. Talk about the Xbox Game Pass _ or actually it's Game Pass _ daily, not only on Twitter, but of course you have a YouTube channel. We're trying to get you to 1K. He does all the best content you could possibly want or need when it comes to Xbox. And on top of that, he covers everything that goes into Game Pass, and he does shorts on YouTube as well as Twitter. Sell your brand, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys can find me Game Pass _ daily. That's on Twitter, and then Game Pass daily on YouTube. Been very busy lately with regular work stuff, so I should be hopefully having a video come out today. And of course, we got Gamers Council with Web Dave every Sunday at 7 p.m. We got Doom Cutie on this weekend. We got probably some other
Nice.
people joining us as well. She's going to talk about her new all girls show coming out, her podcast soon. So that's cool. But thanks for having me. Thanks for correcting me. I have no clue why I had Fable 2024 written down, but I definitely wrote it down. I think that was me more hoping. So I'm confused how the hell I even did that. But yeah, so thanks for having me.
Dude,
Boom.
I'm looking
Good
at my
time
notes,
chat.
and
It's so
I have
weird.
it right
I
here.
wrote it down.
Right here,
Like, dates for
2024. It's the
everything. I don't know where
craziest
the
thing.
hell I pulled that on my butt.
I don't know.
I guess we're
It
all
happens.
smoking the same stuff.
Probably. But Daniel McG, brother, sell
Hello.
your brand. Talk about the best place for all of the best long and short content on your YouTube channel. Talk about the fix with Umbra, and where can people reach out to you on social media?
Absolutely. You can find me on Twitter at Daniel J. McG or at my personal YouTube channel of just Daniel McG. I'm just going to throw the pitch directly to the fix this week because we have a big show coming up. I think it's probably our biggest show yet, for sure. We've this Thursday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be joined by Dealer Gaming, Randall Thor, and Everborn Saga.
Wow, what a lineup! Holy cow, that's
also
awesome.
Dirk Riggedy.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a big show. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're just running down the Xbox showcase. Probably gonna talk more broadly about all the different showcases from this season. Should be a good conversation. Stop by.
Nah, brother, that's a great lineup, and it should be. And there's a lot to get into. Definitely, obviously, Xbox did save the games summer for sure. But we'll hear more about that. Josh, sell your brand, brother. Talk about the best place for you and all of your content. You have quite a bit to get into. More importantly, where can people reach out to you on social media?
Yeah, I'm N64 Josh everywhere. I am doing right now. I'm doing about 12 shows a week on for the Nintendo Powercast. All kinds of different topics. We're doing daily news. We're doing different like community-based topics. I'm live. Well, not Tuesdays, but every other day at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, doing these news. The Tuesdays that I can be here, that'll obviously be later. And it's been a great time. So the Nintendo Powercast has been popping lately. And so if you're a Nintendo fan, come check it out. I'd love to chat with you.
Yeah, awesome, brother. And Umbra, sell your brand, brother. Talk about the fix, where you have a show each and every week, of course, with Daniel J. McG. Talk about it, brother.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a barn burner. It's gonna be a crazy one. I mean, I spoke to the fellas. I said, hey, we got to get the all-star cast here, and I hit so many people up, and I have to apologize again to John Wolf because I had got to him late, and I had to trim the show down because I had actually contacted a few people before him. So I felt a little salty about that, as Danny, I'm sure you remember. I was like, I gotta let him know, and I didn't want to do that, so I feel bad about that. But I will have John come through again soon.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we got some crazy great members of the community and content creators. I mean, Randall Thor, my Chicago homie. We got Dealer, my other Chicago homie. We got Griggity, who's not far away from Chicago. Hey, it's Chicago love. What can I say?
We're also from Chicago. What's it with Chicago content creators and not having their cameras on?
You know what? We're shady over here. We're part of the mafia or something. I don't know.
I was gonna say something to that effect. Yeah, there you go.
And Everborn, we got Everborn, of course, the tinfoil hat master himself. I mean, it's going to be an excellent show. So you all come through. Check out my thumbnail too, by the way. Matter of fact, let me tag myself here so you all can go there. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, please do so. We would appreciate if you guys come through and show us some love this Thursday in particular. And yeah, Boom. I mean, thanks for having us as always, man. On this, it's always love. It's so funny because the showcase stuff has thrown us all off so much. I didn't even know what today was for a minute.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
right there with you, Umbro.
After my day yesterday, I can't believe I did the show, but now I'm ready to rock and roll. So I wasn't gonna miss 2 shows in a row because I kind of was pacing, like, what do I do with myself? But listen, Umbra, it's great to have you a part of the show each and every week. Love the success that you and Danny are having, and it's well deserved for sure. John in the chat says, "No worries, my brother," to you.
Appreciate you, John.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe you
last
could
and no
provide me
least,
with one of those Asus ROG allies or something. You know.
I'll
You
be
kick 'em
picking
off the
mine
show
up.
and ask him for
I'm picking
upgrades?
mine up tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Tomorrow's going to be a great day.
nice.
I'm going to get the Starfield controller headset and the ROG Ally, which I'm going to use only for Game Pass. So there you go. But Luke Lore, let's talk about the Xbox expansion pass. If people don't know what that is, sell your brand, kind sir.
Oh, easy, guys. I am so grateful that you all let me join you today. It's an absolute privilege to get to see you because I don't get to normally do that during the day. Guys, if you're still listening at this point in the episode, that means you're among the most diehard of Xbox fans. And it would be a privilege for me if you guys would go check out the Xbox expansion pass on all your podcast services or on YouTube. At XEP, I mean, we bleed green. We cover Xbox. We do interviews regularly. I've had over 100 developer interviews since the show began, 14 in 2023 alone, including Hi-Fi Rush's director, people like the creative director of Sea of Thieves, a ton of Xbox exclusives. Let's see, Planet of Lana is my next one, and then I have one more in the works that's coming out in a few weeks, which I'm excited about. But it would mean the world if you guys as Xbox fans would go look up the Xbox expansion pass, give it a follow, be supportive. I see the love that you guys show Boom and so many other people, and I would love for you guys to kind of join me in my content creation journey as well.
Oh, listen, it's great. Again, folks, if you want great interviews, one-on-one interviews, you definitely got to check out Luke Lore and the Xbox expansion pass. Everyone's link will be in the description. All you got to do is click twice into the show notes and you're good to go. Of course, I want to say a big thank you to, again, now over 950 people here today. That is bonkers. Hopefully, you are enjoying the content. To do two things. One, hit the like button before you get on out of here. And of course, subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel. A big thank you to all of the super chats that have come in. Again, we use those for big giveaways. We have 4 massive giveaways this year. They're going to be towards the tail end of the year, and the really big one, where we are giving 15 copies of Stalker 2 away. Not Game Pass. We're literally buying 15 copies of that game of your choice. Whether if you win, you get it on Xbox, you get it on PC, whatever you want. And it's just our small way of like mom and pop helping another mom and pop developer. We want to make sure that they get paid in a big way, and we're going to buy 15 copies at full price and give those away to people in the chat when we do our very special live stream of when that game is released. And of course, at the end of the year, we've already said we're giving away $1,000 for the holiday season, as we did last year. And anyone that wins, even if you're outside of the country, you're still going to win. The only caveat is that we use PayPal, and we will send you the money, and we pay for everything. Taxes, we pay for the transfer fee. You pay nothing. You won, and that's how it goes. And obviously, the 2 birthday bashes, where it's Mrs. Boom's and my birthday, except you guys get the prizes. We're giving away $500 each for each one of those shows. So in a matter of, I don't know, a couple of months, we're giving away like $2,000. And it's because we want to give back as much as you guys and gals give to us. So a big thank you for that. Shout out to Riskit for the biscuit. In that, I didn't realize how big of a dude you were, man. You were menacing to many of the smaller content creators you were around there, and you got a killer beard, bro. So shout out to you, Riskit. But listen, folks, again, thank you so much for supporting Double Barrel Gaming in the biggest way possible. Of course, I want to say this before. I close the show every day, each and every show with this, because it's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you, and that's something that my father taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor Podcast.